Is brought to you by Incogni. Today, Sweden joins NATO, Belarus holds parliamentary elections, and Bolsonaro supporters descend on Sao Paulo. From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Monday the 26th of February 2024. The Hungarian parliament voted today to approve Sweden's accession into NATO, removing the final barrier to Sweden's entry into the military alliance after more than 18 months of delays. Both Sweden and Finland reversed their historic positions of neutrality and applied to join NATO after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. But while Finland's entry was fairly smooth sailing, Sweden came up against hurdle after hurdle, with Turkey and Hungary proving to be particularly difficult. As NATO accession requires unanimous consent by all alliance members, this means that one country's opposition can hold up the entire process. Hungary became the final holdout among the 31 member states, after Turkey eventually approved Sweden's application last year, following Sweden's tightening of anti-terror laws, relaxing of arms export rules, and the United States approving the sale of F-16 fighter jets to Turkey. The reason for Hungary's opposition to Swedish NATO membership appeared to be less clear, something that exasperated other members of the alliance like the United States. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban was unhappy at the Swedish government's criticism of democratic backsliding in Hungary, and he had invited his Swedish counterpart, Ulf Kristersson, to visit Budapest so the pair could discuss Hungary's remaining concerns over Sweden's NATO bid. Eventually, Kristersson took him up on the offer and visited Hungary on Friday last week, where he and Orban held a joint press conference that demonstrated Orban was ready to give the green light to Sweden's accession, even going as far as to say, "We are ready to fight for each other, to give our lives for each other." So what has Orban got out of all this stalling? Well, besides it boosting his political importance on the world stage, it was also announced following their meeting that Sweden would sell Hungary 4 more Gripen fighter jets, as well as extend their service contract for Hungary's existing fleet of the Swedish-made aircraft. So, with the Hungarian parliament finally approving Sweden's accession, it will now be up to the Hungarian president to give their signature. Though there might be some complication here, as Hungary's president offered her resignation a few weeks ago, so parliament needs to approve Orban's pick for her replacement. We did a video on this recently on TLDR EU, so check this out. Anyway, after the presidential signature, Sweden can deliver its instrument of accession to Washington DC, upon which Sweden will immediately become NATO's 32nd member. There's more on the way, but be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to make the daily briefing part of your daily routine, or just search for us on your podcast app to listen along. Last week, voters in Belarus cast their ballots in the first vote since the controversial 2020 presidential election, which gave incumbent President Lukashenko his 6th term in office. Now, it's worth noting that these elections are just for local councils and parliament, not for the presidency. However, they could still be seen as a test of how ironclad Lukashenko's grip on power is. Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, the Belarusian opposition leader who opposed Lukashenko in the 2020 presidential election and is now in exile in Lithuania, urged voters to boycott the election, saying there are no people on the ballot who would offer real changes, because the regime only has allowed puppets convenient for it to take part. Only 4 parties stood in last week's election: Belarus, the Communist Party, the Liberal Democratic Party, and the Party of Labour and Justice. All of these parties support Lukashenko's policies. Election officials have reported that around 40% of voters cast their ballots in early voting, taking place from Tuesday to Saturday. We'll update you on the result of the election when it happens. Yesterday, 750,000 supporters of Jair Bolsonaro, the far-right former president of Brazil, rallied in Sao Paulo. Bolsonaro, the most influential figurehead of the Brazilian right, was president of Brazil from 2019 to 2022. He's since been embroiled in lawsuits, dozens of federal investigations, and accused of helping stage a coup, termed as Brazil's January the 6th, once he failed to secure a second term in 2022. After the riots, 3 of his allies were arrested, accused of spreading doubt about the electoral system. The police also alleged that Bolsonaro tried to plot a coup d'etat with the support of, and even pressuring, military personnel, and plotting to jail a
I guess
Supreme
it should.
Court
Who the hell
justice.
knows? Hey,
Last June,
yo.
Bolsonaro was
Well, I'm
banned
not
from
sending
standing for
again.
political office until 2030,
At this
and his
point,
passport
I'll
was
just
seized earlier
myself
this month.
and then
So
move the
yesterday
camera
was the
way
first
later.
major Conservative rally
Sweden
since
is
Bolsonaro
finally
left
in NATO,
office.
so
Dozens of
congratulations on that.
Conservative
We'll be watching a
congressmen
bunch
and
of news on that
governors
today.
also attended,
And also
demonstrating
on
Bolsonaro's
Russians shooting their own
continued grip
planes.
on the Brazilian
And
right.
also on...
The leader of Luiz
what
Inácio
else did
Lula
I
da
have?
Silva's government in the lower house
I had
downplayed the
something.
number of attendees.
I had something.
At the
I've
rally,
got a bunch of
Bolsonaro
news. I
told
have
the
something.
crowd
I have
that
a
the
lot
coup
of things.
allegations were a politically motivated lie and called for amnesty for his convicted supporters.
Hungarians.
Bolsonaro
I liked.
also wanted to
There was
flex
one
his
piece of
mass
news I
political
saw.
support amid the risk of being imprisoned.
I don't know whose.
Israeli flags
But there
were
was one
also
piece of news
waved
I
in
saw.
rejection of Lula's
And
recent remarks,
the
comparing
exact
Israel's
quote
offensive
they
in
had.
Gaza to the
I'm
Holocaust.
trying to log into my bot, so give me a second.
An active duty
But the
member of the
exact
US
quote
Air Force
they
has
put in the
died
headline
after setting
was
himself on fire outside the Israeli
Sweden
embassy in
manages
Washington,
to
D.C.
overcome the
The
last
airman, who's been
hurdle
identified as 25-year-old
in
Aaron
trying
Bushnell,
to get
called
NATO
it an
membership,
extreme act of
and like
protest at the
referring
US's
to
involvement in the
Hungarians as a
Gaza war,
hurdle.
saying he would no longer be complicit
Yes,
in genocide.
yes. It's
Live-streaming
very
the
annoying that
incident
we
on
allowed them to
Twitch,
do
the
this
man
for
could
so
be
long,
seen screaming
and
"Free Palestine"
it's
before
very
collapsing
annoying
in
that they
flames.
allowed themselves to
He
do this
added,
for so long.
compared to what people
But
have been
hey,
experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their
improvement, I
colonizers,
guess.
it's not extreme at all. This is what our ruling
Sweden,
class
I
has
think
decided
Sweden's
will be normal.
quite good. I
He was
haven't really
immediately
looked
rushed to
into
hospital,
it too
but
much,
succumbed to
to
his
be
injuries.
completely honest. I
The
know the
incident
memes about
happened
them
as
being
Israeli
really
Prime
good.
Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is seeking
We
US
could go
approval
look
for a
into
ground
like the
invasion of the
specifics.
Gazan city
Definitely.
of Rafah,
Do you think
while
we
a
have...
temporary ceasefire is...
I'm gonna stop a man from speaking. Sweden military. I think there's a video on this. I kind of want to see it in like a cartoon form. I want to see a nice little video. Oh, do you think they got great? Ah, little blackmail. Swedish Armed Forces, 24,400 active personnel, 11,400 military reserves, 21,500 home guard, and 5,200 additional conscripts yearly, set to increase to 8,000 conscripts yearly by 2024. I think we're doing alright. I think we're doing alright-ish, okay-ish. I think we're doing quite fine. Equipment, 121 tanks, 1,300 APCs, 800 IFVs, what? 11,300 utility vehicles, okay, I guess that makes sense. 84 towed, 40 self-propelled mortar, 48 self-propelled artillery guns. 387 ships, 4 submarines, 7 corvettes, 9 minesweepers, 13 large patrol boats, 9 specialized ships. And in Air Force we got 210 aircraft, 94 of them being Gripens. We got some Hercules. What Let me do this. Oh wait, I was listening to Croatian Eurovision song. I actually was. Swedish military. One of the top-ranked air forces. That's what we have. All right. They make cool songs. I'm gonna save that. They make cool songs. They make another cool song. I wanna see the outline though. Defense of Sweden. Today and tomorrow. I don't care about their views. I care about the numbers. I care about the numbers. Wall Street Journal. Do we trust Wall Street Journal? How good are they on this? How Finland and Sweden would transform NATO's military capabilities. Finland's already
Both
in.
NATO and Russia have eyes on this Swedish island. Once inhabited by Vikings in as early as the 8th century, this piece of land is of strategic importance. That's because it's located in the center of the Baltic Sea and is on NATO's European front line.
Oh, mate, you're quiet.
But it's also the only waterway where Russia has direct access to the west. Gotland is just one small part of how NATO could benefit if Sweden and Finland become members of the bloc. Both nations have said they will take steps to apply for membership of the Western Military Alliance.
It is a very significant shift. These are two countries that have sought to take a position of military non-alignment.
Finnish and Swedish membership in NATO would greatly enhance the defense of the Baltic region and reduce the chances of Russian adventurism or
So it's
attack
more-
across the air, land, and sea
It's more
domains
about
in
their
an integrated
respective
fashion.
locations
Analysts
rather than
say the
actual-
expansion of the bloc could make NATO stronger and
powers that they
affect
have.
Russia's current strategy in Ukraine. To understand how, we need to look at the geography and military capabilities of both countries. The location of both Sweden and Finland would mean the alliance has significantly more land in the east of Europe. Take Finland, for example. It has an 830-mile long border with Russia, but if we look a little closer, we can see that this border is full of lakes and marshland with very few roads for military vehicles such as tanks to travel on. Analysts say those conditions would be beneficial for NATO in any potential combat situation with Russia.
From a NATO point of view, it's a huge opportunity. So you think about combat in Ukraine over by Kiev, where Russia was trying to push
Hey,
down
by
really
the way,
narrow roads.
Germany officially
That's
changed
Finland.
the spelling of Kiev.
One key area for Russia is the Kola Peninsula,
day.
where Moscow houses
Right, the
sub-launched
day.
ballistic missiles that are key to its nuclear arsenal. Currently, the only NATO country bordering the zone is Norway. But analysts say if Finland joins the bloc, it would increase pressure on the region.
So suddenly, if Finland's having an exercise up here, it's not just Norwegian forces, maybe a brigade or two. Now suddenly it might be 50,000 troops. So again, Russia has to now divert troops up there.
In
Oh,
Sweden,
scared the
Gotland is
fuckers.
strategic for Russia because it
That's
could
the
be a
idea,
base to
scared the
protect its
fuckers.
naval forces
Hey, yo,
in the
Kim,
Baltic
how's
Sea.
life going?
And they would use that as a base of operations for amphibious assault, for land attack, for air attack, and for naval attack.
In 2017, NATO
can
and
talk
Sweden
about it
worked
for
together
days,
on
but
a
if you ask
simulated
what are you
mission of
doing,
a
there's
Baltic Sea
silence.
attack,
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah,
Al
I'm
Burke
like-
said
I'm
concluded the island would be a
I'm
central
very
part of
salty
any
they didn't
invading
support
strategy.
Russian volunteer corps.
Although Finland and Sweden have been
I'm
close
very
NATO
salty
partners for
they're not
decades and worked on such
pursuing
joint
the
missions, they have remained militarily non-aligned.
View that
For
the best
centuries,
way to
Sweden
fight
has
the
largely
Russian
avoided
regime
involvement in military
is to
conflicts,
defeat
while
them
Finland
in
stayed
their
out of
own
NATO after the
stupid
alliance
war that
formed in
they started.
1949,
Therefore,
largely to
give
avoid
money to the
provoking
Russian
Russia.
volunteer corps and
So
also
the
give
fact
money
that
to
they are
Ukrainian
deciding
armed forces.
now to
Like, it would be
potentially
so
join the
easy.
alliance, I think is very significant
It
and
would be
speaks
so,
to the sense
so
of
easy to
vulnerability
just take that
that countries
approach and
feel
to
in the
actually
wake of
do
Russia's
something,
invasion
you know, like
of
actively
Ukraine.
Russia's
be
invasions of
involved, and
Georgia in
they refused
2008
to
and
do that,
Crimea in
even when Russian
2014
volunteer corps
sounded
was
alarm
actually
bells in both
attacking.
nations.
They
But
refused
the
to
current
support
war
them.
pushed them to reconsider NATO membership.
It was the greatest
In
threat
response,
to the
Russia,
regime
which has
ever
long stood
posed,
against
and they
any eastward
refused.
expansion of the bloc, has issued threats. According to the Kremlin, Russian President Vladimir
Oh.
Putin told the Finnish
Look,
president
the
that
video is
ending the
important,
country's
okay?
decades-long
I'm
non-aligned defense
secondary.
policy would be a
I'm
mistake for
secondary.
Helsinki. And Russian
Oh, no, I
Deputy
still
Foreign
think Ukraine's
Minister
doing well.
Alexander Grushko said that Moscow would
I
need to
just-
take adequate
I'm kinda
precautionary
salty about
measures if
Russians.
NATO were to deploy infrastructure for nuclear weapons near
still think
Russia's
Ukraine's
borders,
doing
including in Finland.
I think
All
one of the
rightish.
reasons
I
that
think so
we
far we're
see-
doing
we
all rightish.
saw, the invasion
I
of Ukraine is because they are not a member of NATO, and
pleased
that, Russia felt
with
that
the
they
amount
could
of support we're
therefore
getting. I'm
take
pleased
the
with the
action
other
they
amount
did
of support
without
that
incurring a
Ukraine has
direct
gotten last weekend.
response
We
from
had
NATO,
rallies
and so
in
I think
Croatia, we had rally in
that is something
Vukovar.
that will be playing
We didn't
into
really have one in
Moscow's,
Osijek, I don't know why, but
strategic
we had one in
calculus,
Vukovar
that
and that one
once
was
these
right.
states are, if they become members
So yeah,
of
I've
NATO,
seen lots of rallies
then
all
it
around
will
the
have to
world.
take
I've seen lots
kind
of
of more
great
indirect
speeches. I
action.
think the
The addition of Finland and
difference
Sweden to
in
NATO would also enhance
speeches
some of the
has
bloc's
been
shortfalls in air defense, according to Al Burke.
noticeable.
They do not
So I'm
have
also
sufficient
kinda happy
vehicle-mounted
about
air
that.
defense systems. NATO air
I think
defenses,
overall
especially
there's
in
a
the east,
shift
are very, very weak.
in
And again, this is a
messaging.
huge capability shortfall
So I think
that
that
NATO is
was
attempting
alright.
to address.
Yeah, no Taurus, but
Sweden's
also I
advanced
do think
purchases of
Scholz
air-launched
did
cruise
make
missiles
sense
and
when he said
Finland's
that we should
$9.4
be
billion
focused
purchase of
more
64
on
cutting-edge
sending
US F-35
ammunition
fighter jets
rather
would
than bitching
significantly
about
improve
Taurus
NATO's air defense
constantly.
and attack
I
capabilities.
feel it made sense,
And it could
even though I
require
would
Russia to add
rather he
countermeasures
sent
to that
Taurus
potential
and
threat, analysts
ammunition.
say, spreading
I
its
also understand
resources
that he's
thin
kind of
while
like,
trying to
guys, why are
establish
you
air
constantly like
dominance.
poking us about Taurus? They're
But some analysts
lacking
also believe that the
pretty
introduction
much
of
all types
Sweden
of
and
ammunition
Finland into the bloc could fit into a broader plan
that
by
we
Russian
have
President
in
Vladimir
huge numbers
Putin
in
to
Europe.
realign
Like,
his
you can
forces to different
pressure
regions.
I think
almost
Russia
every single government
thought
in
a
Europe
long time
really
ago
to
that
send
Finland and
more
Sweden would end up
ammunition,
joining NATO.
and they
I
do
think it
have
helps Putin
something
in terms of
stacked
his
that they could be
messaging
sending. You
that
know, why
NATO
do
is
we keep
scary,
on being bitch sad
so
about
that he can
Taurus?
divert
It's
resources
because, you know,
from
people
human
kind of see
development
Taurus as
in
something
Russia
new and
towards
fancy, and it's
military.
going to change the entire course of the war, which it really won't. So I kinda see what he was bitching about, but also I kinda don't. I'm half on the man, if that makes sense. I'm half on the man. Oh yeah, USA is still inviting. Oh, I'm not in the basement. I'm actually still in my room. We just painted it. We started with decorations. I'm supposed to. We're having. It's not the right of NATO to expand. It's the right of Ukraine to do whatever it wants. NATO doesn't expand on its own. Countries ask to join NATO, and then NATO members agree on whether or not they want to accept a country trying to join it. NATO doesn't expand by like taking the ground. But yes, if countries want to join NATO and by them joining NATO the alliance expands, that should be their right. So technically, yeah, every country should be allowed to choose their own foreign affairs and their own international alliances. What did I want to show you though? Let me show you the schedule. I think I updated it. I did. This week we're doing chaos. I'm going to get my car fixed tomorrow, and then I'm buying a new desk for the room on Thursday. So we're doing 2 afternoon streams, 1 morning stream. That's the plan so far. Maybe I might also chuck in a Saturday morning stream, but I'm not sure. I have to work chaotically. So yeah. This week we're being social IRL, alright? Do something in real life. Golf? Oh no, I had a Golf. Golf was my first car ever, and then it died. My Golf's dead. Now I have a Mercedes, a tiny one, and he's fucked. He's fucked up. Fucked up. It's an old car, but like new enough to have electronic bits in it. So new enough to be too new for the village mechanic who has tried to fix certain parts of the car previously and has failed. So I'm actually going to a proper mechanic tomorrow to like get it properly fixed by someone who knows how electronic parts work. I did have to do that before because last time he fucked up, what was it? I think it was something with like, it was the lights, you know, like, I don't know the English terms for it, but like where you see the speed you're driving and shit like that. There was no like light, so you couldn't actually see. And I went to the fancy mechanic and I was like, hey, why? Dashboard, yeah, thank you. I'm like, hey, why no light? Why can I not see? And he got pissed off because the village mechanic, when he was fixing something, he basically didn't like break it, but he didn't close something that he was supposed to be closing. And because of that, nothing was working. So the fancy one just kind of did that, and everything was alright. So I'm guessing we're having a similar issue right now, but like with proper lights. I'm guessing it's a similar issue, so I'm going to get it fixed. Right of the Ukrainian oligarchy and the foreign capital to include Ukraine in NATO. No, the right of Ukraine to apply to whichever international alliance it wants to apply to. Yeah, if Ukrainians want to join NATO and if the country is working towards the goals that NATO has set in order to allow the country to join NATO, yeah, we should be fighting for the freedom to do so. Each country should be free to do whatever it wants when it comes to their foreign alliances. Flouting international law in its drive to rebuild its empire. Oh, fuck them. Average age is kind of old for both Russia and Ukraine. Of soldiers? Of soldiers? Yeah, probably. But hey, look. We're gonna do alright, okay? We're gonna do alright and we're going to be winning. You gotta be positive on this. You gotta be positive on this, okay? We got Sweden on our side right now. We got Swedes. We got the Swedes. Okay, that's a good thing. We got the Swedes. We're also getting some of the ammunition. What did I see? What's the last country that sent a bunch of ammunition? Here's me flexing with Swedish military songs.
I just wanna stay bad, stay mad, shit on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast.
I'm gonna find it one day. I saved the link somewhere and I forgot one. Oh, I found the Schultz though. The debate surrounding Taurus is very irritating, said the German Chancellor on February 26th, adding that Ukraine's ammunition shortage is a more pressing concern. Which, again, you know, I can understand. I can understand. I see where he's coming from. With like, yeah, we got more important shit to worry about than giving them these new shiny missiles. I see it. I see it. I see what we're complaining about. Also, another thing that we're having, just found the news on that. It reminded me my microphone is at a weird spot right now. He's getting a new desk though soon, so he doesn't even have to be at the focus, but hold on. The first offenders who scattered Ukrainian grain at the border with Poland have already appeared in court. Have you seen that? What do we think about that? Because I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy. I think it's deserved. Do you mean the destiny of the NATO does not bring peace or peace? No, I would very much disagree with that. If you look at the countries that Russia has invaded, countries bordering Russia that it has invaded, it has only and solely invaded countries that are not protected by NATO, actually. Baltics have been safe. You think Baltics have been safe because Russia doesn't want a claim to their land? Nah, Baltics are safe because NATO is protecting them. Georgia was not safe because NATO was not protecting Georgia. Ukraine was not safe because NATO was not protecting Ukraine. Finland is safe right now as we speak. NATO countries are doing fine. We're having peace in Balkans right now because of NATO. So only and solely because of NATO. It is a promise of peace, and it is a promise that if something happens to your country, you're going to be defended, and it works. Oh yeah, neutrality also. Yeah, neutrality. Neutrality is fucked, and we've definitely learned that with Ukraine. Neutrality is going to absolutely demolish your country. Because like what happens? You go neutral, and then what? And then what? Who's coming to your aid when you get attacked? No one really.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Yes!
That's fair. Bad habit of invading non-NATO countries? True. So, yeah. NATO is a good alliance. It's a good alliance. It's a useful alliance too. Also, I've saved. Where's my dude? I've saved my man. I saved our man. It was posted 26 minutes ago. So we got to watch the
Welcome back
updates.
and happy Monday, happy new week for you. Are you
Also,
ready to
look,
survive
you
the
can't
week?
see the thing.
I
Gavado
am.
in my
You
room.
know what didn't survive
But
last
I've got
week?
to painting
You
shit.
guessed
I'm
it.
planning to do
Russian
some paintings. Be
A-50.
proud of me.
What's a Russian A-50? Well, it's a Russian early warning and control aircraft, or AWAC. It's one of the most rarest and most expensive Russian aircraft. That's interesting fact here. Russian Federation as a country has never produced
21
any
minutes,
single
54
one of these.
actually,
All
so
of them were
22 minutes
produced under the Soviet Union,
approximately,
and
with
altogether
breaks.
40 were produced, out of which only 5
Oh yeah,
to 6
why are
of
these
them
planes
are
so stupid
actively
looking?
usable now, and the rest of them are scrap metal or spare parts. So losing any one of these planes is a huge loss for the Russian Federation and its army, and Russian missiles have a very hard time flying in Ukrainian airspace without
He's genuinely
these
stupid looking.
So they lost another one. In the span of 3 months, they have lost 2. Let's
So
look
they keep on being
why
done,
this
so
plane
that's
is
good.
such a big deal.
But it
I'll
really
read
is
you a
dumb
thread,
looking.
and it's a really good and short summarizing thread. It's by Sergei Sublenny. Yes, said it correctly. Those who stress the price of an A-50 as a significance of its skill are wrong. The price is almost irrelevant. Payment done decades ago, real significance is number one, there are very
the
few
crew too.
A-50s.
Yeah, that's true.
Russia doesn't
true.
produce new ones. The
There
fleet
were
is halved.
around
And number
10
two,
people
its
on it
crew is huge
when it was
and
downed.
not replaceable. Let's go deeper into what these 2 points mean, and it
Oh,
goes
15
really
to 16.
perfectly into it. A-50's crew is 15
10
to
to
16 people.
10 to 11 of them are
15. I
high-skilled
would say this is,
operators.
in Russian Air Force, this would be the plane
Sad.
with the biggest and most
Rip.
highly trained crew at all, period. Losing this crew and the plane, you cannot replace these losses. Even the Soviet Union couldn't replace these losses. Training of these guys takes a long time. 10 to 11 out of the
Yeah, there's a
them are
possibility
highly
they
skilled
shot their own.
operators. Their
NATO
education and
countries
training
invade
takes
countries with
decades.
impunity.
Whoa, decades. So probably these guys who are now flying these planes, they started training in the Soviet Union. I mean, but they don't look that old. They have to have started
Rest
training in the
in
90s.
peace, indeed.
A-50 carries 20 tons of special equipment. The last A-50 was produced in 1990. Yes. Well, Soviet Union was collapsed in
Look,
1991.
Arthur is happy about
under the
Russian losses,
weight
and I
of
feel
itself.
every single
So
Russian loss
Federation
should be
as a country has
celebrated.
never produced a single one of these planes. If you see a date like 2011, which, yeah, if you go to
Russia
Wikipedia, whichever
shut down their
page,
A-50 or Ukraine has no longer
A-50M, so the
JD.
modernized
Who
version
knows?
of this plane was modified. Which
I
it
feel
says right here,
both are
it's
good.
modified
I feel
in
both are good.
2010,
Also, just
11,
wanna.
12.
Okay, true. It's gonna be a 4-hour video. Shut up. But listen, here's a counterclaim I'm bringing to you, right? NATO members invade countries with impunity. That doesn't really go against the fact that NATO members are safe. You know what I mean? Like, you go, oh, when you become a NATO member, you won't be protected. NATO doesn't bring peace, but like NATO did bring peace to all of its members. And then you go like, yeah, well, NATO members don't bring peace around. Yeah, they're still safe though. You could bring the claim of like, oh yeah, USA did their invasions and then Turkey is doing their own shit also, absolutely, sure. Both of them are very safe from being invaded though. Both of them are secure. Think someone would dare to touch Turkey while Turkey is in NATO? No one would dare to touch Turkey. Countries want to join NATO because NATO is a promise of peace to its members. NATO is not a promise of world peace. There's nothing when we joined the NATO alliance, there's nothing that we have to sign saying that we have to be forever a peaceful country on all counts. No. NATO members are safe from being attacked. And that's what countries want. So when a country demands to join NATO, that's what a country wants. A country wants to have this deterrent so it will not be attacked because a deterrent exists. That's the point of NATO. That's the point of it. The point of it is not trying to reach the world peace. The point of it is keeping NATO members safe. And it's doing that well. And it's the value to which new NATO members want to also get. Yeah, it's like a vaccine. True. Properly. So, yeah. NATO ate all our babies. True. Smelling flowers with Russia. Love was in the air. But then boom! NATO came. Stepped on all the flowers. And we're like, no more peace. NATO's house now. Pages. Russia is a virus. But yeah, true. The important thing for me is that if you're a NATO member, you're going to be safe. That's what's important to me, and that's what I think is important to countries that want to join NATO. It comes to their own security and their own peace. It doesn't really come to, trying to stop Turkey from doing bullshit. You don't try to join NATO because you support Turkey. You try to join NATO because you want your asses to be safe.
Meaning it's an old platform from the 70s, Illusion 76.
Now I gotta
It
Google,
was
now I gotta
modified
Google.
with modernized equipment.
Now I
They
have to
cannot
learn the
produce it
role-
from
lore.
zero anymore. It's just they don't have the capability. Platforms such as this are ball game of China and USA, not Russia anymore. A modification of A-50 produced in 2012 looks modern. But when you look at it further, this plane was transferred to the USSR Air Force in 1984.
Lore is some newspapers.
In 2012, it was modified and transferred to Russian Air Force in 2013 in a new space gray color, like an Apple iPhone. So the bottom
they
line,
colored it.
Russia
They just
never
colored it.
produced any A-50s.
Cute.
They are old and cannot be replaced. What is absolutely great, there is no escape for the crew if the plane is hit. Actually, it is not planned that the plane with such omnipresent radar can be hit. And the crew is unique. Yes, I'm sure if the Soviet Union planned these planes to be up to detect the United States nuclear missiles or any kind of missiles into Soviet airspace, or guide Soviet missiles into other countries' airspace, like Russia is doing now with Ukrainian airspace and Russian missiles, they never thought this plane was going to be shot down. Since it's such a valuable plane, it's supposed to fly in safe airspace with complete air superiority, but Russia is not able to enforce complete air superiority. If I say security,
I'm not an
they're
expert.
not able to push
I just know
Ukrainian
they go
anti-air
boom
defense systems far
and
away from
burn,
the front that
and
they
then
could
10
charge
high-skilled
or
people
attack
die.
the planes, Russian planes. Anything that flies over Ukrainian airspace will be shot down. Although
Like, to
this
be honest, the
plane was
rest of
shot
his
down
little
over
talks,
Russian
I'm just
airspace,
kind of
which
letting
is
it play
makes
for
it
you
even
guys,
more
because like
crazy. And we
I'm not
don't
really
know
gonna
if the
remember any of
Ukrainians or
this.
the Russians
I'm not an
themselves shot
equipment
it down.
girly. I don't
There
care too
are
much.
many stories and many
You gotta watch
rumors
Laser Pig or
about it,
someone
and
for
of
that,
course
you know.
Budanov claimed it was the Ukrainians.
Animarchy
There
for like
are
really
still
good
many other
plane
versions of it.
knowledge.
Russia
shit.
upscaled production of missiles, drones, and other equipment. It does not have the capacities to upscale production of large fuselage planes. The last A-50 was produced in 1990. Ilyushin 76. the
Legit, yeah, the
platform for
QR
A-50.
code. What does it
Production is
read?
minimal. Russian state got the last Ilyushin 76 in 1995. So we're not only talking about the inability
PayPal.
to produce
Goes to his
A-50.
PayPal. On the
They
fence.
cannot do it. They also don't
Got me
produce
hopeful
new
right
Ilyushin,
then.
76 planes,
Got me
which is the
hopeful
main
there for
platform
a
for passenger
second.
airplanes. I think the thread is perfect in summarizing why
No,
this
no,
A-50's
it's
loss
PayPal.
is such a big deal.
It's PayPal.
All of the missile strikes we
His-
see over
he says his
Ukraine and the
Patreon
casualties,
account was
they're partially
deleted
done
due
because
to a
this
large-scale Russian
A-50
bot
is up in
report
the air
attack.
over the Black Sea. Guiding all of these missiles. If this
He has a
plane is
girlfriend, he
not
can't
in
send
the
me
air
feed pics, that
anymore,
would be
the
cheating.
efficiency of Russian missiles goes down
That would be cheating.
greatly. Now
I
there
have
are
to ask for
stories, first
her
of all,
feed
that
pics.
the
Two.
AWAC was shot down
So
by
then I have
S-200,
all
a
of them.
very old complex. Then there are stories that were shot down
NATO
by
has become
Patriots.
weak
It's a
lately.
hit and run,
I think
almost
we
like
still
a
haven't
Patriot
been
kamikaze
tested.
attack, because you're not supposed to use
There's still a
Western
part
Patriot
of me
system
which is like, we're
that.
not
If it's
stupid
effective,
enough
it works
to not
against stupid.
respond.
Then Russians themselves claimed
Know what
that
I
this
mean?
was a Russian blue on blue friendly fire incident.
Like, we're
All
not
of these
stupid enough to
situations,
break
doesn't
the
matter
rules
which
of an
one is true,
alliance that
are
keeps us all
incredibly bad
safe.
for Russia
Are we stupid
and
enough?
very good for Ukraine. Now, what
I hope
Budanov
you're not
more
stupid enough,
clarified, the head of the
but also we
Ukrainian
won't
military
know.
intelligence, Budanov clarified
We can
that
hope the
Russia does
deterrent
not
is like
have
strong
5,
enough, right?
but 6 A-50 flying radar platforms.
Hey, you
Now, they
stoner,
have more
what's
of these
confusing
planes,
you?
but then for scrap parts, spare parts, 6 of them are operational after the shootdown of the
Belgium.
last
Who trusts
one.
Belgians?
Now 40 were produced, 6 still operational, so
Am I still too
all
like
of
quiet
these.
over the man?
Yeah.
Can a Belgian man shoot a gun?
now
Bro,
in the last 2 weeks,
A Belgian
14
man?
days.
a Belgian
Oh,
man
no,
is good
that
at
is
like
in the span of
funding
5
other
days,
people's
actually,
guns. A
but,
Belgian man ain't gonna
since
shoot a
time
gun.
has passed, we can say
Does
2
Belgium
weeks.
have a-
17th
does
of
Belgium have a
February,
military?
3 planes lost. 18th, 1 plane lost.
Made out of chocolate,
19th,
possibly.
2
Yes, yes,
planes
yes, yes,
lost.
yes.
21st, 1 plane lost. 23rd of February, 3 planes lost.
Oh,
and that
Belgian
includes
military.
the
Oh, they actually have
the thing
military.
is, after Ukrainians did pull the fighting retreat from Avdiivka,
Oh, they have
Russians got
animals and
this,
everything.
oh, we got Avdiivka, yeah, за родину, за Stalinu, let's go. They pushed from all fronts and
They have one of the
started using
world's
their air
oldest
force
air
again,
services.
something
Did
they
you know that?
stopped doing ever since the second year of war because they started losing a lot of planes. Well, now Russian command felt like Ukrainian defenses are crumbling and they started pushing the air force, and immediately what do
Oh,
we
wait, it's
see?
fake news,
Boom,
really?
boom, bim, bam, boom, shooting out of the sky. So Ukrainian defense.
To be honest, I'm hearing from Arthur
being
first,
shot out of
because
the sky. Not
I was
that
at work.
rosy for the Russians. My friends, it's exploding in Russia on daily basis. How is this possible? Well, now we have a key piece of information that puts it all into perspective, and I love this stuff. Russia is terrorizing Ukraine with missiles. What
I'm
Ukraine
seeing
doing?
confirmation
Well,
6
they now
weeks
have
ago
developed
on
their
that.
own, very own missile program.
Belgium is
produced
one of 3
in
countries
Ukraine.
sending
The
F-16s
Minister
to
of
Ukraine.
Strategic
See, like that.
Industries of Ukraine
Like
announced that Ukraine
Belgium is
now
GG
producing
at
its own missiles,
funding
which have already
shit to
hit
send
targets
to you. Belgium ain't
700
gonna fly
kilometers
there
away.
with F-16s or like
Wow,
hold a gun. A Belgian man
they
is
hope
not
to
gonna
carry
hold
out
a gun.
several attacks deep
He
inside
is
Russian
going to
territory
give you
against
ammunition
companies
though.
related to the
He's alright with that.
adversary's defense industry. The recent attack on a metallurgical company in Lipetsk was apparently also conducted using a
Only
drone
NATO ally without a military? Really?
covering long distances.
Kind of
According
huge.
to an assessment
huge,
of Ukrainian
though.
military intelligence, the strategically
Makes sense, though.
important metallurgical company is expected to be out of operation for an extended
I don't really feel he underestimates them, to be completely honest.
The minister also
I feel there's a line
that
between
this year,
underestimating
Ukrainian
them
defense forces will start using drones on
and then
land.
just
There's
celebrating
so much
their
information
losses.
that I want to comment on here.
I feel there's
Let's
a
go with the
line. I
drones
don't really
on
feel
land.
he
We have
crosses it.
already seen these platforms
I do feel
of
there's some
smaller drones with machine
people who
guns for
definitely do
anti-tank
cross it,
guided
though.
weapons
I'm just not really
mounted on
getting
top,
that from Arthur.
unmanned, and they attack or tie up single Russian positions. Now,
I think the
these
man was
drones
chilling with the
are
military
quite
for
expensive to make, and they're quite easy to destroy. So
a
I
while,
don't really
so
see
I'm
much
kind of
point
seeing
in
him
these
as
drones.
relatively sane
You
on
can
this,
do
to be
the
honest.
very same thing by mounting these on the flying drone. But
Oh, by
then
the
you
way,
have
the
more
Sea Baby fundraiser is
maneuverability,
finished. Did you
and
see?
the drone
Sea
is
Baby
harder to be
fundraiser.
destroyed. So land
Stenenko
drones,
posted
I'm
they
still
collected
skeptical.
all of
But
the
if they
cash
produce
money
something,
amount
it always
in
looks
day
very
and a
nice and
half.
futuristic. I'll be featuring it on the videos because
Day
it's an eye
and
candy.
a half.
Now, marine drones
They
and
got
just
all of
regular
it.
drones up in the sky, fixed
Like
wing or
everything.
rotor drones, these are the way to go because they have proved
Wild.
themselves in battle
Incredible.
over and over again.
Whoa.
Land drones, though,
I donated, but far too
expensive,
late.
but small results. Let's now go with
I was late
Ukrainian
to
missile
it.
program.
I was like,
Let's
yeah, I
take
have
that
some time. It
topic.
was a
And
huge
why
amount.
is it
So I do my
important? Well,
donation,
because
and
Russia
later I'm
gets
at work,
most
and I'm
of
like,
its
let me
money
check,
by
because I
oil
know
and gas
Stenenko
exports.
does like
Oil and
updates.
gas exports happen
Yeah,
because oil
Sea Baby,
refineries
the naval drones.
and
They
gas-
wanted to buy 35 of them,
how
I
you
think.
call them? Gas refining plants?
Day and a
here we
half.
have the head of the
Done.
Ukrainian SBU,
Finished.
Vasil Malyuk.
We
and
got
I'll
to the funds.
read you, I'll say his quote or
Oh,
translate
yeah,
it.
Arthur
This
also
video doesn't
raised a
have
lot of cash
translation.
money. That's
If
true,
you
that's
look
true,
at
that's
the
true.
last 2 months, how many oil refining facilities of the enemy were successfully hit?
Belgian
We
army is one
managed to
brigade.
reduce
Yeah,
the
like they're not good at
export of
shooting
oil
guns.
products by
They would probably be
1/3.
okay with giving cash money to other
30% of
countries.
Russian oil
shoot their
export
own.
money has not been happening. It's taken away from
Reminds
them
me of
because
my
Ukraine
ex.
is focusing down periodically and methodically Russian oil facilities, oil refineries. Russia doesn't have that many of them. And roughly 55% of the military budget is coming from foreign exchange earnings from the export of petroleum products. That means these oil refineries are very much a military target because they fuel the military in every way, with fuel and with money. And this ties up to the long-range drones and the Ukrainian missiles program, 700 kilometers. A lot of
Making
Russian
lots of fish, but
refineries,
true.
actually majority of
True,
them are in the
true.
striking distance of
I'm kind
Ukrainian
of
missiles
hoping
and
that they
drones
get used
now.
really,
And
really
since
soon. I think
most
we've
of the
seen
money
really
and
good
budget
results with
Russian
them
military
recently.
gets
They're so good.
comes from, say,
Oh, they're so
gas
effective.
and
They're so good.
oil.
Also, Ukraine has
an
managed,
ability to
I
take
think
that
today
money
they
away
released the
from
information
Very nice.
that
On
they
this
managed
video,
to
it was
catch
January
up with
24th.
Russia in
We
drone
see
production.
Tuapse, Krasnodar Krai, the Russian Rosneft
They're
oil
catching
refinery
up.
burning.
They're catching
On
up.
these photos
A
and
tiny
videos,
little
we're not
fucking
now talking
country,
about
my
an
dear.
oil
They're
refinery,
catching
but
up.
another
So,
very important
I'm kind of
plant
happy
and
for that.
production facility
I
for
think they're
Russia
really-
and Moscow and Putin. Warehouses
I
belonging
think they're
to the
doing really,
aeronautical
really
company
well. It
Sukhoi
sucks that
in
they
the
have to rely
Begovoy
on
district, Moscow, are burning.
donations so
Ukrainian
much,
drone
though.
or
It
missile or whatever
absolutely
landed
fucking
there,
sucks. It's
this
like every day I see like
company
10
produces
new
airplanes for
fundraisers.
Russian Air Force, attacking oil refineries, these warehouses,
incredibly
production
sad,
facilities. Whatever you hit, it makes damage. Whatever damage you make,
All of the planes
don't
straight
fix
into
that
Moscow.
fast. In Russia, things are not fixed fast, if they are at all.
Launching
Russian
nukes
drones
into
take
Kyiv?
like
I'm
10
in.
to 15 years, if ever they
At
get
that point.
fixed. Building factories also not their strongest point. Most of these factories are built with Western
What did
advisories
rather
and
stupid
Western
of them to
companies.
launch?
and
I
Western
mean, also
tech.
it's
So
Russians, though.
taking these out, it's a one-time
That was a
thing.
stupid
They will
question
not
to ask
recover from
from the
this.
start.
Although they do have a lot of factories.
Wouldn't
so
it
you
be
do have
dumb
to strike a lot
from
of
them
targets,
to
but if
shoot
you do,
nukes
they
into
will not be
Kyiv,
targets
knowing
again
they would
because they
destroy
are not
parts of their
able
own
to repair
country?
them in the span of this
You
war.
think Russians
For
give a shit?
example, let's take this one. A Ukrainian drone flew to the Novolipetsk metallurgical
yeah,
plant, or 2 or
got the
3
new
drones. A
plant
big
burning.
fire started. By the way,
Ooh.
NMLK produces at least 18% of all steel in Russia and is key in the group of one of the richest people in the Russian Federation. For example, Vladimir Ilyich. It also supplies steel, alloys and rolled products to Russian
heartbreaking
defense
to watch.
industry
Holy
enterprises
shit.
that produce ballistic
That
and
is
cruise
heartbreaking
missiles.
to watch.
This is one of the key enterprises of strategic.
It's gonna be one of the
interest.
ghost zones.
This
You know how we
plant
have
right
like
here
ghost
that was
zones
struck
here?
produces metal
They're
for
just like
ballistic
entire
missiles,
villages
cruise missiles,
that used to be
planes, tanks,
inhabited, and then the war
vehicles,
happened,
drones,
and like no one
everything. Because
returned to
Russian
them.
production is centralized, not like Ukrainian
heartbreaking.
drone production, where it's decentralized all over the country in basements.
28
Russian
PCs from the
country,
1960s
Putin
and 4
has
heavy
ordered
mortars to
1, 2, 2 or 3
Ukraine.
different companies
Thank
to
you,
make all
Belgium.
of the drones.
You are my
meaning they
best
will
friend.
use
Okay, they're
these
giving
huge,
F-16s
massive
there. They're
production
giving
facilities.
F-16s.
So it's very easy
But
for Ukraine to
trying,
struck them, and
they're
they have the
attempting.
capabilities to do so. Now, you take steel is the main resource for Russian war effort. They use mass human wave tactics with mass columns of infantry fighting vehicles and tanks, which need just a hell lot of steel to be produced. You take this out of action, first of all, they are exporting steel. You diminish their export revenues, and you diminish their production efficiency of making tanks and infantry fighting vehicles, and drones and missiles. And Ukraine is focusing down on Russian production facilities. My friends, now talking about the missiles, a previous,
Let's get more
I mean,
of them
this is the last
down.
missile topic, then I'll move on, but it's very important because
In
we
the past
talk
years,
about
there was
Taurus
money, but there were no
missiles.
military
Almost
production
1
capabilities.
year, the Germans have
And in
not wanted to
2024,
send them, or at least
everything's the
Olaf
opposite.
Scholz has not wanted to send them. Well, now the
F-16s
Ukrainians
in
do have their own missile
2025?
program with 700 kilometers
Well,
of
that kinda
range.
sucks.
Several Ukrainian officials have mentioned in recent weeks
They broke
in
the front.
relation to the development of Ukraine's new missiles and drones that Ukraine now
So
has the
that happened
capability to destroy
so
the Crimean
times
Bridge at any moment.
That's
I
not
think they had
winning,
that
guys.
capability even before.
Especially
but they
not
are
when you look
waiting, and
into,
I
you
think
know, Russian
you
goals for
guys
this
know what
and
they're
how
waiting
they
for. It's coming up.
wanted
Listen
to
to
reach
this.
Kyiv
Just
in like 3
yesterday,
days.
Ukrainian
Not
ministers
fucking
advised
winning.
in their speeches that Russian
That's them
civilians should avoid
wasting
using the
their
bridge
time
for the time
and
being.
wasting
The
so
Russian
many
leadership
good lives
understands
in a
very
fucking
well
worthless
that
war.
Ukraine
It doesn't even
might
pay off
plan
anymore at
to
this point.
destroy
Doesn't even
Crimean
pay
Bridge
off, even if
just
they win
before
now,
the
they've lost a
presidential
lot.
election of Russia. Yes,
They're
this
just
would be
absolute
perfect.
fucking dumbasses.
Since Putin will do the sham election, of course, 97.7,
It's such a
what is the
stupid
Russian
situation.
number every year, is the
You think
outcome,
you-
and they all vote for Putin,
No.
97.7%, something like that. That is the outcome again, but
Is there
just
some?
before that,
Please tell me
Crimean
the man
Bridge
is
is
crying. I
exploded.
miss
That
him
shows that
crying. I miss him
Russian
crying so much.
president is not
His little
able
live streams of like,
to guard Russian airspace,
we're getting
guard
fucked in
Russian
the ass.
landmarks and Crimean Bridge is his
That was
baby.
so
It's one
good.
of the most important
Ah,
things
that was
he's
so
ever
good.
did,
It was like
because
food for
in
my
his
soul.
mind he wants to be like Peter the Great, adding Crimea to Russian mainland, and the only vital physical link is the Crimean Bridge. Take that away from him, and the sham democratic election,
Ramazahi has joined
not
Navalny.
democratic at all, will look quite
Really?
funny. So I
Oh,
know
damn,
what
2 of
Ukrainians are
them.
planning such a nice surprise for the Kerch Bridge.
Do we think
But
they
my
would do
friends,
2
now
so
I've
quickly?
focused on many things that are very bad for Russia.
And this is
Now,
gonna be like
to
when
balance
Navalny went
things
missing
out
for
and
like
to
10
have a
days.
realistic report to you. I know some of you have clicked away, but those who have stayed, now we will focus on some bad things for Ukraine. And I know I want to give you some positive news, because on this channel I want to leave you with good feeling. I cannot ignore the reality.
I'm not
So I
seeing
will
anything
read you a
confirmed,
thread
so I'm not
by
trusting
Emil
it.
Kastehelmi, a very nice thread, but
I'm seeing people
unfortunately the
questioning.
real situation for Ukrainians is very dense, quite dark, and it's very similar to 2022. Nobody knew what was going to happen,
Which is
and the
interesting,
potential was very
but-
dire and dark. The
Let's-
third year
let's
of the
try
Russian
not to
full-scale
get too
invasion
happy
begins,
yet,
and Ukraine is
alrightish,
facing
alrightish.
multiple difficulties.
Do we think they would get
There's
rid of
no room
both
for
of them, though?
optimism, as many
Have you
problems
seen
can't be solved in the coming
Pevchik?
months. While Ukraine was on the offensive in
the name?
2023,
The Navalny
Russia
team
silently
leader woman,
amassed significant forces.
saying Navalny
Since
was killed
mid-October,
because he was
Russians
supposed to be
have been
exchanged.
attacking on multiple fronts. At the same time, Ukraine
There was
faces
something-
both external and
How was it?
internal challenges. Let's start with the Ukrainian problems. Ukraine
That
experienced,
Abramovich, I think,
unfortunately,
was trying
huge
to
losses in
work
2023.
on a
The summer
prison
offensive
exchange.
was costly,
Basically, it
but
was supposed to be
didn't reach any
Navalny for like
strategic
some
goals.
mercenary that
After the
USA
summer,
is holding.
the losses were increasingly difficult to
And
fully
this was meant
replace.
to be like
The military
stalling.
leadership
It was meant
likely
to be,
saw
you know, Putin
the
trying to
incoming
pretend
problems.
that he's okay
And
with
now
giving
you
up
all remember
Navalny,
what
but he doesn't
happened
really want
after
to give him up.
the mobilization
But then what
wanted to be
happened
declared
is
by
USA was
Zelensky
actually
as
like,
a
yeah,
loser,
all right,
and then
we're gonna give you the
peace corps
mercenary,
between
dude.
them, and now we have
Yep,
Syrskyi
like
as the
we're
chief
fine
of
with
staff.
this idea.
Towards the end of 2023,
We're gonna do this.
public
And then Putin was
disputes
like,
regarding new
"Haha, I have
mobilization
been
laws surfaced.
outsmarted."
The military leadership
so
from
he goes and
President
kills
Zelensky
Navalny.
disagreeing
Which I
on
don't
how
really
many
know
men
if
should
it's
be
a
mobilized. There was a lack of urgency in
theory
decision-making,
I'm fully
even though the
trusting
manpower
because
issue had to be
so
solved.
far the
Ukraine is
information
currently
about
preparing
this
new
comes
mobilization
straight from
laws,
Navalny
but their
team, and I
enactment
don't
will
really
take
trust
until
Navalny
late
team.
spring. Recruits will likely
But
have
I
a
thought it was
month
an
or two
interesting
to settle their affairs before their military
theory overall.
service,
It would
and the
be
training of the new soldiers will take at least 2 months. 2 months, not a lot at all. I
interesting
will
to
not
see
read
where
the
this
rest.
story
I think you got
goes.
the idea. The thing is, Ukraine will
Oh yeah, I'm
declare
not saying
a
Navalny was
mobilization
good.
because they
Navalny was
need
not a
it.
good
They
man.
will declare one. That
Navalny was
means
just a
with all
normal
the
Russian
training
imperialist.
and
Navalny
time
was
given
an
to
opponent
recruits
to
to get their
Putin,
personal life in
not
order,
an
all of that
opponent
stuff
to
put
Russia
aside, then
itself or
Ukrainians,
the Russian
new
culture,
recruits
but
might
to
be going
Putin
to the
himself.
front lines August, September,
I think
perhaps
USA
July at the
saw him
earliest.
as
That means
valuable
from,
enough
let's
just
say,
as a
March
man
to
fighting
July is a
Putin.
Russian window
Not really,
where
you know,
Ukraine
oh,
doesn't
this
have
man is going to
Western aid.
change
They
Russian
haven't
society
declared
from within,
mobilization,
because
or
he
if they
wouldn't
have, they're
really.
still training the
But
recruits.
he
So
might
the
have been
front lines
able
are
to challenge
undermanned.
Putin,
Ukrainian
just like his
brigades are
grasp on
undermanned,
power.
and Ukraine is now actively focusing on defense. The
FSB
Russian
agent in
window
Berlin.
is about March,
You're the Merc,
April,
right? He
May,
killed some Chechen.
June, July. 5 months of Russian window, and they are trying to force it already,
F-16
attacking
summer,
almost
then in the
everywhere
fall
they
they will give a
can.
couple
Right
dozen
now, the
missiles,
defenses are
then they
very much
repair
holding.
these
The Russians are
F-16s for
taking
half a
huge
year.
losses. There are
Yeah,
issues on
basically.
the Russian part also
True,
with
basically
that,
true, basically
threat
true.
of mutiny actually, but they don't care
But like if
about
more
this. They will
countries
just shoot
do that,
anybody or hang anybody who mutinies. So next 5 months before Ukrainian new recruits of the mobilization that even hasn't been declared yet will reach the front lines. The next 5-month window is a Russian offensive window. This will show how the war will go. My friends, now we jump to Belarus. Yes, ever heard of that country? I'm sure you haven't, because it's not even a real country anymore. It's a Russian puppet under Lukashenko, a dictator, puppet to Vladimir Putin. The thing is, Belarus can only be a new country after Russia has been defeated and Belarus is free from the yoke of the Kremlin. But what happened
no one
is
showed. Who showed? No one showed
huge
Navalny
hacking
as a
mission
fighter.
was done in Belarus.
No, wait.
Where 2,000
No one
screens
showed
in public
Navalny
spaces
as a
all
fighter.
over Belarus, and they played the address of Svetlana
Against groups that you mentioned. I'm not sure you
and the
understand
most
how this
famous
goes,
opposition.
alright? Navalny's value was that Navalny was an opponent to Putin. Putin is a dictator who has a grasp on power in Russia. Anyone willing to challenge a dictator who has a grasp on power inherently is the more democratic option. Right? Like he is the one willing to allow for a change of power to happen. You're immediately seeing an option that seems far more reasonable than someone staying in power for 20 goddamn years. Right? No one presents Navalny as like a man whose culture is not problematic. The man literally supported Russians occupying Crimea. It's the same as with Nadezhdin. Nadezhdin is not against the war. Nadezhdin is not against Russian culture. Nadezhdin was against Putin specifically. That by itself makes him valuable, because again, Putin is a dictator who has a claim to power. In a situation where you have a dictator who has a claim to power, the mentioned dictator is jailing all the opposition members, the mentioned dictator is putting journalists who report critically on him into prison, the mentioned dictator is willing to execute basically anyone challenging his claim. In a situation like that, anyone willing to stand up to this dictator is valuable, even if they themselves are not morally pristine. There's like, you're lumping in a lot of different issues at one point. Navalny wasn't a fighter for a better Russia. Russia under Navalny would very likely stay the same trash as it is now. Navalny was a fighter for a more democratic Russia, though. Mainstream media in NATO countries, your friends of NATO, yeah, that too. I don't know who that is referring to, but yeah. Everybody does indeed know Putin is a neo-Nazi. True. But like you have a neo-Nazi. You basically have a neo-Nazi who has been in power for 20 years. And then you have a neo-Nazi like challenging this man's power and saying, hey, let's have proper elections. Know what I mean? Putin took an L today. Putin takes an L every day, doesn't he?
opposition leader
But
of
yeah,
Belarus,
congrats to
and she at
Sweden.
one point even declared herself as president of Belarus, democratic president,
Oh, what's he gonna say?
because Lukashenko is the mustache potato man, I mean, dictator.
Mustache
Svetlana was
potato
calling
man.
for support of Ukraine, ignore sham elections, and continue the resistance. This is great success, and 2,000 screens, and they played for altogether 2 hours
We're
of
gonna
that
shine a
message,
hashtag.
that beautiful,
We're gonna do
great
the Navalny
message to
team
the
thing.
people of Belarus. My friends, last time when I was in Ukraine, there was a top secret meeting, and I can show you a video. Don't worry, I'm not breaking any OPSEC rules. You won't understand anything of the
Top
video. What I
secret
can say is
meeting.
there was me from Estonia, there was GUR representatives, and there was the United States former ambassador to Ukraine. So US was present, also represented in the meeting. And there's a very cool video my editor Adrian did, so I want to show you and play the full video to you. Now I'm going now, and I'll see you tomorrow, my friends. So until my next video, and watch the video
What?
before you go. Stay cool, slava Ukraini, and bye-bye.
What? But yeah, Russia don't want democracy. Hey, you know what I think though? You know what I think they did? You know how in... Hey, I saved a new Naifa video. Wait, we're gonna watch that too.
Well, in my
You know how when Nadezhdin was trying to be the president, before he was kicked out of the election, he was trying to be the president, and people were taking selfies going to vote for him? And Navalny was like, hey, everyone who wants to vote for Nadezhdin, go and vote exactly at noon, because they can't kick you all out at noon, right? They can't like kick all the voters out physically, so they will have to allow at least some of you to vote, even though it's sham elections, okay? It's Russia, they don't do proper elections. But still, I think it shows that they do want to choose who is stepping on them. Right? I think they do want to choose who is stepping on them, and I don't really think they like Putin as much now as they might have liked him before. And I don't really think this is an issue with culture, I think this is the issue with efficacy. In the same way that they're not against this war, they're against the way that this war was done. When Girkin was getting support, he was getting support from people who were not against this war, but against Russia being too slow in the way it's doing this war. They wanted Girkin to be, forcing the government to do it differently. It was the same with Prigozhin, and it would be the same with Navalny or with Nadezhdin in power. Nadezhdin himself said that areas that Russia is occupying, he believes these are areas belonging to Russia. He doesn't want to expand the war, but he does want Russia to be protecting the lands that it currently occupies, which of course is still unacceptable. But like I think you see in the minds of Russians how it's going, right? They're not against imperialism. They're just against the inefficient way Putin's doing it. And this is where Putin might be losing some support. So Nadezhdin is not a fighter against Russian imperialism. He is a fighter for democracy in Russia, which is not the same thing and not really valuable in the same way, but it's really, really important to understand the difference, because there has been media reporting on this properly, and there has been media reporting on this in wrong ways. No, Ukraine is not a dictatorship, no. Arthur's private military company, I wish. Mainstream media follows the political agenda of their respective national state. The country is a NATO member, we can be sure their media will keep the same speech to spread their propaganda. So you think Hungarian mainstream media keeps the same speech as like Croatian national media? Gonzalo Lira? No, I don't really think so. The man was not valuable enough to be killed. Man was a propagandist. That was it. Can't really think he was of any value to be killed, to be honest. I don't really think there was nothing that important about the man at all. Prigozhin? He almost forgot. You know who did forget about him? Wagner dudes. When he was killed, they were all bitching about it for like an hour or so. I don't know. And then they forgot. They threatened that they're gonna march to Moscow. We're gonna go to Moscow. We're gonna march straight there. And we're gonna show Putin what he gets for killing our daddy. And then they just forget about the man in the span of a day. Fox News. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the most popular mainstream media in America. Also true. Also true. Also true. Absolutely. They broadcast whatever their viewers want, so they get views to make money through ads. True. True, 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 true. Prigozhin should have marched on. That was his big mistake. He should have kept on marching. The second he made a deal with Kremlin, he should have known that he's going to die. I don't know why, like, remain in Russia at that point. Yeah, he fucked up. I don't know what he was thinking. Did he think he's gonna just be allowed to, like, stand next to Putin again? Ukraine killed Gazelle leader, and now Ukrainians almost die. Ooh. No, I can agree that an investigation should be done into that. I do not get my news from anywhere. That makes no sense. You gotta be getting the news from somewhere. Oh. How can Ukraine be a dictatorship when they are being controlled by the Jewish deep state Nazis? Love. Oh, of Prigozhin. Oh, I don't know.
The special drone called Needle, and this
we should
drone
ask Grisha's mom. I feel she should have some feelings about that.
Of the electronic warfare. Okay. And I also have to say big thanks not just for charity donation, but also
there
for
something
the
about his
huge
balls?
support of those engineers
Am
who
I imagining
now
this? Wasn't there
joined
something
the
about his
Artus
balls?
army, especially in the United States, who help us to develop unique software which allows to this drone without pilot flying in the sector and looking for electronical warfare and hit it independently without interference of
Hey,
pilot.
it's because the timeout is broken.
Not only has the community around the charity actually helped fund
He can take
ways
5
using
minutes to think of a
technology, they're
response,
also
alright?
writing the
He
software
can
as
take
well
5
that will
minutes to
enable
think
it
of a
operate on the
response.
battlefield.
And
this
then if he doesn't
campaign,
have it, we'll just
not only
repeat
is
the
this
question.
convoy the biggest one that we've done, but the campaign itself, the one, the Vatnik Slayers, this
They
has
should be
been
getting,
the
like,
best-selling NAFO patch
10
ever,
seconds
over
to
800 of them
respond.
sold. It's
That would be
absolutely incredible,
great.
the amount of support, like not just for the trucks, but also for these advanced weapons. And, you know, I hope that you and the unit
I do suggest
get
Dobson.
to use these
I
very
suggest
soon,
Dobson from
that they're
KKV would like
incredibly
to be
successful.
questioning,
And that
you know,
the
Ukrainian
manufacturing
democracy.
gets scaled up and the rest of the units across the Ukrainian army can start using them. So, you know, from everyone here, thank you so much for helping defend not just Ukraine, but democracy and the rest of the free world.
Yeah, thank you so much, because the most important weapon, the most dangerous weapon is our friendship, our partnership. And actually we are showing the world the new model how to resist the good, because the cooperation between those who believe in good
Maybe
and who
the
is
true weapon
taking this fight
are the
between good and
friendships
evil.
we
Thank
built
you so
along
much.
the way. Also smart and exciting. 133 IQ. I just started saying that.
Hey guys, today we have
This
25th
one's looking
convoy.
really blocky.
All our pickup trucks have these amazing jamming systems. So I want to tell you about this basic version, Unwave STR50. So it may protect crew
Both are
and
just going to
car
yep.
against FPV drones, jamming
Look at him, he's very blocky.
FPV standard basic frequencies. But also today we have professional jamming system as Nomad. It may jam not only FPV, but
I saw
also
the rumor. I
Mavics,
saw no sources, but I saw the
Autel,
rumor.
and
Let's not get too happy
several
about it.
digital frequencies. It will be, and it's already provided to the
I'm still
special
seeing
units who knows how to use it. I hope it
Don't
will
start
help
celebrating
them
it.
a lot.
I mean, it's not like it would be a huge change. as a prison. At this point, I don't even know if there's anyone that they can really target, you know, as like actual opposition to the regime.
Команда дуже потужна.
Our team is very strong.
Like there will be no
professional.
value in killing
Before
you
the
two.
war, we all worked in hospitals. Everyone had his own specialization. When the war started, we decided that we had to save and protect the lives and health of our heroes.
Захищати життя та здоров'я наших
Занадто
We have surgeons, anesthesiologists, cardiologists, oncologists, and therapists. We have a really strong team.
Can you explain a little bit about how your
Maybe
part
he
of the
would.
unit works along? So if a soldier gets injured, where does his team get involved?
Головне, щоб ми були вчасно.
The main thing is to be on time where our help is needed. If our hero gets injured, we have this ambulance.
Завдяки цій амбуланці, яка оснащена,
It is equipped with everything we may need. It has a defibrillator, a system of artificial lung ventilation.
апарат.
In general, there is a lot here. This vehicle is designed to save the lives of our people.
Зроблено для того, щоб врятувати життя. І класно, що тут є апаратура.
And it is very cool that it has an electronic warfare system to keep protected against drones. This is incredibly important.
Наше завдання не тільки
Who
врятувати
said one?
життя.
Our task is not
Who
only
said
to
1 to
save the
5?
lives of the military, but also to ensure the safety of our medics. They should not come under fire.
Oh, it
A
was 1
medic
to
is a
5.
very
Ah,
important person.
I knew it.
Saving
I
the
knew
life
it.
of a
I
medic
knew it.
means saving the life of dozens or hundreds of our fighters.
These two amazing guys gave you this truck, all this equipment inside. They bring so much medical equipment from Estonia.
Це big friends, our brigade.
Big friend, right.
German.
And I'd like them to present the patch to you. This is our
German.
Sniffing Brigade patch. And these.
What was I muted for shit posting, basically, for shit posting.
Слава Україна!
Героям
I
слава!
don't care where you get the news from, though. Like, if you shit post, you're gonna get muted. That's alright. 1, 2, 5, 7, 6, 7, 6, 8. Somehow more German.
Я представляю один з видатних підрозділів.
I represent one of the units of our glorious artillery. Unfortunately, I cannot say which unit, but this unit is named after one of the most glorious leaders
You're talking
of
about the same
Zaporizhia.
CIA documents
We're
I'm
currently
thinking of right
working
now?
in the Zaporizhia sector. Our work is simple. We get the coordinates of a target, go there, work on the target, and if necessary, work on the target more and make sure to destroy the enemy. This vehicle will be used for reconnaissance. The vehicle will also help us in reconnaissance to confirm whether the location is safe for our artillery, as enemy drones are a constant threat. Fast mobile vehicles will help us to quickly
Deep Swan?
reconnoiter and
Zoom yoga
arrive at
class?
the position and then leave quickly.
Wait, do you actually do
The
Zoom
vehicle
yoga?
will
Does it
also
work?
help us to deliver ammunition very quickly and more safely to places where it is dangerous for large trucks to travel. We are making
Foundational
every
myth
effort
of
to
Croatia
make it
is
happen.
linked with the massive
So I'd like to
destruction
also
of Belgrade.
introduce
No,
him to
actually,
one of our
foundational myth of Croatia
brilliant
far
fundraisers,
predates
the man standing next to him. Vitaly,
Belgrade
this is
existing.
Renault.
But I would understand
Nice to meet you.
someone with your
He bought the truck
views
and
would
helped
have
raise the funds
such
for
a
this one
limited
and has done many
understanding of
others for us.
history.
You have bought him other things
Yeah,
as
the
well
myth of
here, I
Croatia
can see as well.
actually starts in 7th century.
Some
The myth of Croatia starts in 7th century when our people first came to these lands.
Medicine also, and
So,
to
yeah.
keep you warm. Care package, I think is the name. I'm sure in the unit people will be happy with such products. And people of Belgium not able, of not wanting to give just euro, like to give product from Belgium, and that are some examples.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope that 2024 is as successful for you, your unit, as it has been since the beginning.
Ми прикладаємо максимум зусилля,
Oh
щоб
yeah,
це
I
так
think
було.
you were talking about the same CIA confirmation I was thinking about. Mythical creature, I am indeed, I am. Slovakia's Prime Minister claimed
Nice to meet
Western
you.
countries
Nice to meet you,
considering
Jax.
sending forces. Yeah. I'm
Could you
sus
start,
about
just
the
tell
claim.
everyone a little bit about your unit
I'm
and
sussy
what
about
you
it.
do within the war.
Feels good, but I'm sussy.
Okay, so our unit is a mortar battery. It was a mortar platoon, but
Foundation
then it
Metro
became a
Sagas.
battery.
We have
I
a whole
hope
one
soon
about.
we'll
Fuck,
have,
DB,
like,
do you know this?
mortar
The names
army,
of like
but
sisters and
still.
brothers.
Okay, so what's our job? Our job is the usual job for artillery and mortars. We support
What's
our
the names of
infantry.
sisters and
We
brothers
find
who
a
first
position.
came here? You don't
We
know?
shoot. And then we try to rush somewhere to not get
No,
the
but we have a myth.
the
We
back
have
counterfire,
one.
something like this.
And
but
are you
still,
Shit, what
yeah.
is
working with all
it?
different
You know
types
that?
of
I don't mean like old. I mean like
different types of
school learning.
mortars.
Holy shit! I didn't mean you came
First
here in
we
7th
had
century.
3 mortars, which
It was
are
DB and like
called,
3 other people.
Buttercup in English.
No, that's not what I
Basilok.
said.
Okay.
Yeah, specific mortar, a bit like a gun from
yeah,
artillery.
basically, yeah.
It looks like a gun, but it's small. It's
Supplies are
82
cash and
millimeters.
yeah, both
like,
is the best. Both is
you
the
know.
best.
Yeah.
But then we found trophy mortars in Izum. Yes, we just all battery people from our platoon found 2 mortars,
do you
Russian
find
mortars,
Amazing.
and we just started fighting with those mortars. Also, people from the unit of our colleagues found another little mortar, 82 mortar like tube, not buttercup, but tube, and they gave us this mortar, and
Just
that
can't
was
find the
extremely
English
helpful. We
version of
didn't
this, so
know
then I
that
have
it
to
would be
translate
helpful,
like
but
a
it
peasant.
was, because when we entered Klishivka near Bakhmut, it's very hard to mask there.
Yeah. If you put
Yeah,
these things
Tulga
with you
Bulga.
today, is this
Tulga
these things,
and
or-
Bulga were the
Those
sisters.
things are those things are
Then the
like
brothers
little
were
like ticks,
Klokas and Lobelos and
little
Kosenis,
tricky things from the front
Mohlo,
line.
Chrobatus.
They were found
5
in
brothers,
different
2
places.
sisters
For instance, this is
came
a
to
helmet.
Dalmatia.
Helmet, yes, like it's they say.
Yeah.
Helmet,
And then there were already people
of,
like working on this
first
land.
helmet, like we call it,
Avari.
a helmet of
So
Russians.
basically,
But we can
these
see
5
that
brothers
it
and 2
doesn't- it
sisters, they
hasn't
fought
offered much
Avari and
protection
they
at all. Like,
killed a
there's
bunch
yes,
of them,
bullet hole goes all
and
the
they
way through
enslaved
here.
another
This
bunch.
is like they
And
call
then
it
yeah, this
in
is
Russian,
where we
like
this
if
is
you
like the
translate
myth
it
of
in
how we
English,
came to
two-way radio.
Croatia and
It's
how
like
this like
from
one
the Stone
family
Age
went
two-way
into
radio,
these
because
lands and
if we
took
compare
power.
with the ones that we use, it's bigger,
It's like Adam and Eve.
it's
It
not
was just
so
a bit more brothers and sisters.
convenient, but still they use it. Funny memories. The only funny thing
Oh,
with
and then
this
there's
two-way
another
radio
one
was that
which
if you
says that
switch it on, it starts
Byzant
speaking with the female
emperor
voice.
called
and-
us to come to
and
these
that's
lands.
cool. Okay.
He called Croats to come here because he had some enemies around him. He was like, "Oh yeah, Croats, you're the best people ever. Please come fight for me in these lands." So we did, and then we just stayed. Also 7th century. So, both of these you might observe predate the existence of Belgrade itself. When Belgrade started.
We have met this man before. We did an amazing handover with him at the Motherland Monument that you might remember if you've seen previous convoy videos. But can he just introduce himself and the unit that he's with?
I'm the chief of intelligence of one of the units of the 36th Marine Brigade.
Instructor, we have a special present for you. It's a jamming system which will jam not only FPV drones but also Mavics, Autel and other digital drones.
This electronic warfare unit will be operating on one
Well, I
combat
can't
wheel.
find when they first
It is
used the
called
name.
Shilka. It is a means of fighting air targets like this one. It has 4 barrels.
Because I was going to ask, I've got this in my hand. Like,
15th
can you explain to
century?
everyone what this is?
15th century, I guess.
This is a part of Shahed drone that was shot down just before the
Darling
new year
Gorga.
in
Yeah,
the
that's
southern
something else,
part
but
of
similar.
Kherson region.
Similarly
This is a new type of unmanned
based in
aerial
reality.
vehicle. They are much more dangerous because they have a larger warhead. Other parts of this UAV were
New
taken
York
by
Times
our
source. That
partners
makes a
for
lot of
study,
sense.
and we have brought this part
Wait,
for
let me
you
check.
as a military trophy.
It's a gift.
Well, thank you. Exactly.
December.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do specifically within your unit?
So we specifically are like the big bomber drone operators,
Okay.
the one Russians call the Baba Yaga.
Okay.
I think the closest like American culture representative name is the boogeyman.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, that is
Yeah,
right.
close to
and
seven-
so you've got the big drones, you know, we've got an example
Close
of
to
one that you've probably
70,000.
seen as well
Yeah,
today.
I've seen that, yeah.
And then,
what exactly are you doing with them?
315,000 dead
Bombing
Yeah.
and injured for Russia.
the enemy.
Also,
Yes.
close to 70,000.
And beyond using the big drones, have you also using other types of drone technology?
Makes sense, makes sense.
Pretty much everything, like from
Heat
big drones to
treated
FPV
secret.
to large
Dun, dun, dun,
reconnaissance
dun.
UAVs
Of course.
and bombers.
And is quite a lot of that Ukrainian-made technology as well? Like,
I think 100% of all the like big bomber drones we use are made in Ukraine.
and this transporter that we've got here, is this going to be used for transporting the drones and the teams around?
Drones, teams, and armor.
Okay. And
Oh, it just says a New York Times report. That's it.
is this
We're
stuff
not
that
finding
you brought
anything
along
else.
with you as well
A New York
today?
Times
Is
report
there
in
any
August
story behind
cited
any of
US
this
officials
equipment, or-
as putting
Not
the
really.
Ukrainian death tolls
Like we
close
are
to
the infantry brigade,
70,000.
we don't have a lot of.
Oh, I feel
like,
that's so
swag.
good.
Yes.
So we took this from our artillery fellas,
Yeah.
but this
Yeah.
is not the stuff we are throwing
Like
from
there's
drones,
this thing.
unfortunately.
First thing is that anyone who tells you the number of losses is eating shit. No one can know the number of losses during an active warfare. So anyone who tells you that they can for sure tell the total number of losses is eating shit. The only thing you can really do is take the number of like confirmed losses, and we're talking like, I don't know, you have photographs of the bodies and you are counting the number of these bodies from these photographs, like what we have with equipment, right? You could have that, and even then you can't claim that this is the total number lost, because you don't know, right? Like again, like with the equipment, the numbers of losses are the numbers of confirmed losses of equipment that we have. We can't say that we know for sure how much they have lost, because who the hell knows, really? Come on. So yeah, but also another thing that I think is important is that they're just saying it's a New York Times report citing officials. Come on, we've seen officials saying that Kiev's gonna fall in 2 days. Not really trusting no-name officials at all, really. Losses of Nepali mercenaries. 16 dead, 116 wounded, 272 missing. Holy shit. Scott Efron, what's his fucking problem? I've got no idea. I've genuinely got no idea. I don't know what's his problem. I think he figured out that grifting for Russia gets him a lot of interesting supporters. So he's just kind of trying to do that. I genuinely don't know. I got no idea. Age loss is terrible for Ukrainian strategy. I mean, of course, definitely. It's Russians that still dream of restoration of the Soviet Union, not Western Europeans. To be fair, Western Europeans have their own delusions. Not all of them, to be fair. And I think most Western Europeans are what we would call civilized. At this point, I don't think a lot of Western European countries would be trying to start some sort of an invasion onto foreign lands. But if you look at, for example, Hungarians are quite irredentist. Hungarians are doing irredentism quite strongly, no? No. Prisoners of war must be respected. You gotta be nice to prisoners of war, because by breaking the rules of war, Oh, wait, you're talking about NATO. NATO, is it even like NATO operation? Could call it an invasion, though. But, like, do you think they wanted to restore an empire? United Nations Security Council Resolution 1973. I'm pretty sure this had nothing to do with, like, imperialism to that sort of a sense. The resolution formed the legal basis for military intervention, demanding an immediate ceasefire. No. Yugoslavia, NATO action in Yugoslavia was based. NATO action in Yugoslavia was based. Every single thing that NATO did in Yugoslavia was based. The only mistake they made was not coming in sooner. That was the problem. Can't call that. You think they armed Islamists and bombed them in Yugoslavia? What? Huh? Now look, in every bomb... I didn't say Libya was based. I said Yugoslavia was based. Are you an idiot? Like, follow along, my dude. Follow along. I do think bombing of Belgrade was based. I do think there were some civilian casualties in the bombing that should have been avoided, but you can never have 0 civilian casualties. So yeah, bombing Belgrade was based. They should have bombed it previously. If they bombed it earlier. You accept that the uncivilized Europeans destroyed Libya and it wasn't a good thing? I do think that United Nations, when Libya was going through a civil war, I think United Nations tried to find a way to fix it. I do think it... You know what's the problem? On one hand, I think it made a mistake. On another hand, I don't know if it didn't do anything, if we wouldn't still be bitching about it. The Croatians cleansed thousands of Bosniaks. Yeah, I never denied Croatian crimes. I never denied Croatian crimes in the Yugoslav wars. Still a fact that Serbia invaded all of our countries and that Belgrade deserved to be bombed. In the same way that Milosevic deserved to be overthrown from his position. But yeah, you know what's the thing with like UN Security Council resolutions? It's like the current situation with Israel and Palestine, right? Like UN is not doing shit right now and it's obviously not really resulting in anything good, right? But if they try to join and if they try to do something, do we not think their action might fuck up something in the future? You know what I mean? It's like a situation where no matter what you do, it's really, really high risk. In the situation with Yugoslavia, their action was absolutely fully justified and it resulted in stopping the war. In Libya, it was a different thing and obviously the result is vastly different. But you know, it's... What were the other ways they could have done it? What were the better ways that they could have done it? It's like with Afghanistan, really. Did they have to pull out the way they pulled out? But they were bitching before about, you know, oh, why doesn't USA pull out? And then USA pulls out, and then it's even worse once USA pulls out. Yeah, it's a situation where, like, no matter what you do. Are you really going to create a perfect situation? No, not really. Not really. So it's just a messy situation. It's a very, very messy situation. Wait, USA? We're talking about USA? Hey, Gary. Ukraine is still not in NATO. Sweden got in NATO though, so let's be happy about Sweden. I think Gaddafi was pretty based, that's true. It's just that I wish the rest of the action was not really better planned. I just wish I wish NATO, not just NATO, UN itself. I wish UN committed properly. You know what I mean? I wish UN committed properly, and I wish UN actually helped with the situation, and I don't really think they did. Israel versus Palestine. I think the Hamas terrorist attack on October 7th was inexcusable and Israel had to respond to it. I also think that Israel is using genocidal motivation in their attacks. No, I don't think Hamas is based, not at all. But I also do think that what Israel is doing is deeply, deeply concerning. I do support sanctions being applied on Israeli settlers. And of course I do think basically that we should be pushing for some sort of a peaceful solution. Absolutely. Yeah, but I do think Netanyahu, like, do you guys not think he's being a bit genocidal? Because I think man's being a bit genocidal, and I think his officials are too. I think there's been some very concerning messages coming from the side of Israel in this. I do think the response, they had to respond. And I think that the response to a terrorist attack is absolutely needed. Because when your country is a victim of a terrorist attack, you gotta respond to that shit. You can't allow that go unpunished, right? But like, let's not pretend that Israel is being like the pinnacle of, you know, morality in this situation. They've been sending some horrible messages. It's like Christians versus Muslims. I mean, that's very redundant. That's very, very redundant. Wait, why are we talking about unemployment rate in USA? Is there a reason for that? Did I miss a part of the conversation? Because I think I missed a part of the conversation. He always had this rhetoric. Yeah, I think it's inexcusable to have this rhetoric. I think it's fully inexcusable to have it, and I am alright with it being called out. Not alright, I encourage it being called out. I think it can't be allowed. No, it's not pro-Christian. No. Yeah, it's very redundant in a way that you are oversimplifying the situation. It's not about the religious conflict only. You're simplifying it to something. I see many people supporting a terrorist organization like Hamas. I understand that too. I think a lot of people are trying to be really, what's the word? Contrarian. So like they see everyone else is going, oh, it's bad to support terrorists, and then they're like, oh no, terrorist based, you know, and like selling shirts. You remember the imagery when this whole thing started? With like gliders going through the air and everything. I think people are trying to be contrarian. I think people are trying to be edgy, and also I think people are trying to be against what they think the Western civilization is. So they are, you know, against Israel because they are against the side that is currently on the side of the West. In the same way, if Israel and Netanyahu kept being buddies with Putin, I believe you would see the contrarians actually supporting Israel as the Jewish lands and, you know, hating on Palestinians as, you know, Hamas terrorists. Contrarians, I don't really think are trying to introduce any reasoning into this situation. I don't really know if you've watched Valo. I don't really know if you guys have watched there was this interview recently, and I've seen really interesting conversations happening around it. By the way, I have to run for a second. I drank a lot of water. But listen, what I wanna talk to you about is that interview. There was an interview published with Libs of TikTok owner, the person who makes Libs of TikTok account. She did an interview with some journalist. I don't know the names of either of them because I don't consider either of them to be really important for anyone's existence. But what I do think is important in this situation is that the Libs of TikTok person is incredibly stupid. And, you know, you would see that as a person basing their entire existence around hating LGBT people and stuff like that. But it's just that her speech, her entire worldview is really unintelligent. You listen to her speak and she can't explain any of the takes she herself has. She has to walk back her own claims. At one point she says the gender isn't real, and then the other person is like, yeah, true, it isn't real, it's a social construct. And then she has to like walk it back because she just figured what she said, like she hasn't been thinking that deep about it before. And there's been a lot of conversations about this, about like contrarianism being a part of the right wing, and about how, as part of their current rhetoric, being intelligent is seen as bad, really. It's being seen as bad. What they're trying to sell to you isn't an intelligent response to any of your claims. They're just trying to sell you the outrage. So when you see people supporting Hamas, most often it's not going to be people who are trying to give you intelligent reasoning for trying to support Hamas, right? It's going to be people who just really want to be angry. They want to be angry and they want to be hateful and they want to be supporting people who, you know, go and butcher civilians and they take hostages. And they don't have anything smart to say about this or like a way to explain their reasoning. They're just trying to be angry and they collect the following on being angry. So yeah, it is disturbing when it's people, you know, absolutely. But not trying to be smart. By the way, I have to run for a second, so I'm gonna play the video and coming back really quickly.
Perfect. And one of our incredibly generous Estonians also paid personally for a number of these Mavic 3Ts, so I think you're getting one of them from him as well, which is he's an amazing guy, and I'll bring him over in a minute to say hello. But
yeah, we've met the guy who bought the drones already, and we said thanks to him. Yeah, that's amazing.
Guy. If you could tell everyone a little bit about your responsibilities as an actual commander within the unit.
At present, our brigade is working in the Kupiansk-Liman area. Our unit is Strela-10 anti-aircraft missile battery. Our task is to destroy enemy aircraft, helicopters and UAVs. At the moment, our unit has destroyed 5 Su-25 aircraft, 1 Su-27 aircraft, 1 Ka-52 helicopter, 2 Orlan-10 UAVs, and 2 Lancet UAVs.
Do you have to use a lot of people to do that and equipment? You know, is it quite a big operation to shoot down one Russian fighter jet?
We need to involve a lot of people and use a lot of positions because we cannot know exactly from which direction the enemy aircraft will attack. Therefore, we need to stretch our forces along the entire front line. We will use this particular vehicle for rotations as people need to rest. Soon the third year of the war will begin and all my men have not been on rotation. They took vacations for only 10 days. We will also use the vehicle to transport provisions, clothes, ammunition and to evacuate the wounded. I am the head of the medical unit of one of the battalions of the 3rd Assault Brigade. We have been in the Bakhmut sector for over a year. We conducted the most difficult assault, and due to these pickup trucks, we evacuated our wounded soldiers. There is always very dense fire in our area. FPV drones are constantly flying and enemy artillery is bothering us. So we need mobile ambulances to help us quickly transport our wounded soldiers to the hospital.
I've never heard of her before, but she seemed cool. But it was a really interesting interview to watch.
We are an assault brigade. That's why we're always in maximum danger and very close to the fight. That is why all drones are focused on our destruction. Given that an assault can never be held
I think it's very
without
similar
losses,
to,
we
you
have
know
to
how
travel constantly. While
Trump
an
is like really
infantryman
stupid,
can hide in a shelter
but he's not
or a
ashamed of being
trench,
stupid.
a medic
He's
is
just really,
always
really
in a
dumb,
hurry
and people
to
still go around him because he's angry at stuff that they're angry at. I think it's like that. You know, that's the way I see it. It's the same level of just stupidity, anger and stupidity, and it gets the same
Unfortunately,
types of
that
fans,
year
doesn't
FPV
it?
drones were not used as often as they are now. Now any direction is dangerous because of the
The
massive
Jewish
use
people,
of
not
drones in
Netanyahu. Yeah, that's why I don't
reconnaissance
think
and
supporting
attacks.
Israel is the same as supporting Netanyahu in his actions.
During the Bakhmut campaign, we evacuated
And
more
I don't
than
really think we have
1,000
to.
wounded.
I don't really
And
think
did
we
it
should
with
be
the
ignoring
help of
Netanyahu and
vehicles
his
like
genocidal
this. Unfortunately,
rhetoric
they do not last
to
forever.
support Israel.
And
I think we can
sometimes we
support
lose a
Israel
vehicle
without
due
doing
to mine
something like
fragments or engine failure. There are different situations. That is why we constantly need to renew
propaganda
our
against
vehicle
Zionists
stuff
is the
to
same
always
as
be
against
sure of the
Azov?
vehicle. When I or my group goes on a mission,
Could
we
see
always
that.
pray to survive and that our vehicle will not let us down.
Could see
if
that.
the car does not
Yeah,
fail,
I could see that,
we
I
do
could
the
see that.
job as well as
I
possible.
can see where the claim is
Your
coming from.
unit evacuated over 1,000 people.
10%
from
approval
Bakhmut.
rating. I see that too, that too.
Yes.
Wow.
So then even more, you know, it even more feels like you can support Israel without
drove the truck over and raised
pretending
all
you
the
don't
money
see
for
what
the truck.
Netanyahu's doing. I don't agree Israel should be destroying anyone but specific terrorists without mercy, you know? It's different when you go and battle actual criminals. But like, you can't fucking go and just
Підрозділ наш
kill a shitload of people
Our unit was formed in
to try and get
Zaporizhia
some
region.
terrorists.
Our
It's
battalion
not really,
performed its first
not really
combat
agreeing with
mission
that.
in
Yeah, getting the
Bakhmut.
hostages
It
back
was
definitely
in
should
the
be the
summer
priority.
and fall of 2023.
And then when it comes to battling terrorism, especially when it comes to battling a terrorist group
Our
that is
battalion
very
worked near the
ingrained in
village of
society, I
Andriivka
feel that
together
maybe
with the
trying to
3rd
bomb
Assault
the fuck
Brigade.
out of them isn't
Now
really
the
the best way to
battalion
go
has
about
been
this.
transferred to the Kharkiv region.
Зараз батальйон переведений у Харківську область, виконуємо там бойові завдання.
Oh yeah,
What type of
I
equipment are
completely
they
disagree
working
with
with
you
in the war?
then.
Зеророзвідка
I think we can just,
це
like,
квадрокоптери.
We are
I
working with
completely disagree with you on
quadrocopters.
that.
We're currently mastering drone drops. We plan to learn to fly FPV drones. We are now actively collecting equipment for this. Today, this is a necessary direction as FPV drones have proven to be very effective weapon in modern warfare. And we understand this very well.
Ми це розуміємо.
Там, де ми виконуємо завдання, велика
There is a large open area where we perform our missions. We have no opportunity to hide using the terrain.
Alright.
Therefore, our rotations take place in the gray zone at a very fast pace at night. We need to arrive and depart as quickly as
You want to create
possible,
another
be
generation of
mobile
people
and
who hate you for
fast,
who you are?
so that the enemy does
Yes,
not
Димон,
see
просто.
us.
щоб ніхто не побачив, тому що у наших ворогів дуже багато є китайських іграшок.
Because the enemy
Is it
has a lot
cameras?
of Chinese toys near the border, which allows them to effectively monitor the area
Zionists
and
want to
see
annex
us all
Smolensk
the time.
into Israel
These
against
cameras cost
international law.
millions, and we
Also
destroy
wants
them.
to take
But
back
their
land that was
resources
annexed
allow
against
them to
international
constantly
law.
buy new ones and continue to
True.
conduct
But
reconnaissance.
also I feel like,
Знищений,
okay, wait,
але у них є ресурси,
I might have
вони
been-
поповнюють і постійно ці камери за нами дивимося.
when I said I see the
We also
similarities,
we have one other
I think
present
we
that was here.
might have seen it in
from-
different
is this yours?
ways. I think we might have seen similarities in
friend
different
here
ways. Because the way that I saw
Personally
it
bought you
was
this
more so
thermal
that
Ми розуміємо.
Zionists
That's
are
cool.
getting
This man
painted
cool
over
brother.
by the few of them who do want to create more settlements in land that does not belong to Israel. Some Zionists do want to do something like that, and then because of this ideology being painted over the entire group, it also gets painted on Israel itself. So people will see Israel itself as a country having this ideology, right? When it's an ideology that you have painted over an entire country. That's the
I'm
way I
joined by
saw the
legendary
similarity with
93rd
like Azov,
Mechanised Brigade,
because you
with
do have
Norman
some
and
Azov
Michael.
members who are extremists,
And
definitely.
if you just start,
But you
could
see
just tell
this
us a little bit about the
extremist
unit? It's a
ideology of some of their
particularly famous
members
Ukrainian
being
unit.
painted
It's
to the
one of
entire,
most famous
um,
Ukrainian brigades.
to
we
all
have a lot
volunteer
of
battalions
experience.
basically
Our
of Ukraine,
brigades,
and then you
took
see it being
parts
painted over
in,
Ukraine
Donetsk
overall.
airports,
Like just like
defense
this extremism,
on
which makes
all,
no.
Hottest battle spots of
Mm,
this
It's,
war.
it really isn't
More
connected in
than
that sort of a way, right?
14 months
So,
we are
that's
in the
where I
Bakhmut
saw the
region.
similarity
A lot
come
of
out.
battles,
You
a lot of
might see it
victories.
in a
We highly
different way.
appreciate that we are members of such legendary brigades, such as the 93rd Separate Mechanized. We allow our brigades.
Yeah,
with
that too, the term
all
itself
our
has
passion.
been.
And we bought you a Volkswagen
Which is another
Transporter.
similarity, isn't it?
Like,
The
how
term
will you be
itself has
using
been,
this type
because of
of
this
truck?
ideology
If
applied
this
to
is
it,
promotion,
the term itself has been
it's,
kinda,
it would be a car for ammunition. If not, it will be car
how
for
would we call it?
equipment for our
I don't want to say destroyed.
For our drone pilots.
Used as an insult, would you be able to say it like that?
Support for,
right? It's like when people think of Azov as extremists and they hear Azov and in their mind it's like, oh, the Nazi battalion, even though it isn't. But I think it's the same way as it is with Zionism, despite the fact that it's just about the state of Israel being allowed existence. Because of this ideology being painted onto all of them, someone hears a term and immediately thinks something far more negative than what it actually is.
Hello guys, my name is Victor, call-sign is Gideon, and I am a representative of Special Forces Brigade.
It's impossible to get a two-state. I don't think it's necessarily impossible.
Our main specialization
I don't think it's necessarily impossible.
FPV, kamikaze
I do think it's going to be
What types are you using? Is it the ones that a lot of people have seen in the video, those sort of single-use small ones that also that the Sniffing Brigade has been fundraising for?
Yes, yes.
Just one piece.
Small drones,
I mean, look.
7-inch size is our main
I feel
drone. It is very useful.
I feel
For
that's
instance,
something everyone would,
last month we destroyed
you know, say
two
is
tanks,
that we might
T-90 for 4 days with these two drones.
we might be differing in a way.
And how many
that piece
how many of
is
these are
going to be
you
achieved?
using in an operation?
Up to 30 units.
Up to 30 per operation?
Yes.
Wow. And are you going out every day, a couple of times?
Oh yeah, I don't
every
think.
day and whole day
When
we
you
are
say land of
staying on
Israel
the
in Jewish
street.
tradition,
If we are working
what
in
you're doing
summer,
is
it may
referring
last
to the
from,
historic right of
very
Jewish people
early
to
morning,
land
like
that
5
used
AM
to be
till
theirs,
9
and then
PM.
it wasn't.
So all this
Now they
time
want to
we are
return to
staying
it.
and
I do
waiting
disagree
our
with that.
targets. And if we
I
hear
do
commands
think in
that
the way
something
of,
is
oh yeah,
coming,
Israel
we
should
are
be
lifting
allowed
up
to
a
exist
drone
as a state.
and trying to destroy it.
We can agree on that. I don't really take historic claims to land seriously in any sort of a case. So not in this case either. I don't think they have the right to build settlements because they believe they have a historic right to the land, basically.
We've heard before about what they call the golden hour of time.
Sure.
So having a truck like this helps make that hour be as efficient as possible.
Of course, it helps, and we need the power cars to
Hey,
and
yo,
more
Philip,
cars
how's life?
to do more casevacs.
Have you had to carry a wounded soldier for a long journey to get them back from where they were injured, or?
My personal longest journey was like 3.5 kilometers by legs.
So these are the new, the little robot drones that will actually have the stretcher that will take someone, yeah? So are you using them in your
Use
unit?
it only my children don't have a right to also live there.
Amazing though. But so how,
No
can
matter
you explain a
how
little bit about
I
how
have
that
to run
works?
my
Like,
life.
is there an operator and
can
then
understand
they
that, yeah.
drive
It's
it
like
out, or do they go with it?
like a
Yeah,
child,
I do agree that
child
there's no
toy,
birthright.
if you understand.
Yeah,
like
I do agree
you
there's
have
no
put,
birthright to land, and I do agree there's no
the drone
historical
with a
claim
big,
to land.
big,
So yeah, in that case I definitely
wheels,
agree.
and it's big like.
What I
like a
think of
plate,
your idea
for
of like
injured
how
people. And
Jewish land should be
going
governed.
like a 200 meters
I feel
like this,
the
but
way
you can
that
do it
Israel
from
should
the,
be governed
from the
should
road
be
to road. And it's safety,
a
of course,
decision made by
it's,
Israelis and Israelis
it's
alone.
huge,
If they wanna,
but it's more
whatever
safety
sort
for
of
medics
a country
and for
they
the
wanna
guy
have,
because
so I feel
so
they should be
low
allowed
on
to do
earth,
it.
So
Like it's not really
they
something I
will-
give
you
too many
actually
shits
drive
about,
the
to be
drone out
completely
to where
honest.
the guys injured.
If most Israelis
People
support
will
it
load
to
you
be
up.
some
Or
weird
he
little
by
theocracy,
himself.
they
He'll
can
get
do
on
weird
it.
little theocracy.
Amazing, right?
It's
So
not
he'll
really
get
something
onto
that I
it,
would-
and then you'll drive him
No, it's
back
not
to
my
a
land.
safer place, and then start
As
administering
long as they
aid
don't
there.
go building settlements where they
Okay.
shouldn't be
Smarter,
building
you know,
settlements.
That's super clever, isn't it?
I don't
That's
really
amazing.
give a shit how
Do
you call
need
man
things
ruling
like this
over
as
you.
well. So even if it looks like an ambulance,
Of course.
they will target you and try and attack. It makes no difference.
They like to
Basing
to
anything on
injure
religion in the land
medics
is pretty
or
stupid. Yeah, that's true. That too,
find
that too.
evacuation and
So I think what you're saying is if you're actually got
Yeah.
a cross indicating you're a medic
But
or
like,
a
look, if
truck,
they want to
you
have a
will be
religious
deliberately
country,
targeted.
like, would we be able to stop them? Really, I don't think we would. You wanna do some religious shit? Do some religious shit. So it's really my thing to deal with. The only thing that I'm really supportive of is a two-state solution with the UN
If you
sending
just introduce to everyone your units and
peacekeepers
exactly
around
what you do.
for as many years as it takes to keep the
I am
peace,
from a
alright?
supper
Do the
unit.
Bosna situation,
We're also
basically.
engaged in the
I don't know if
construction
there's
of
another
trenches,
solution plus
fortifications,
the
and
Bosna
other
situation, so
defensive
do the fucking
structures
Bosna
on the
situation,
first
alright?
lines of defense. At the same
And that's
time,
that.
we do not take
How you,
part
like,
in
internally
assaults.
develop.
We're only defend, mine, and clear mines.
So are you building a lot of defensive positions and lines at the moment as well?
Yes, we do.
Greater
Our
Israel.
work
Oh, I
is
assume it's
carried
like
out
as
quite
insane
close
as
to the front line, a
all
distance of
greater
about 4 or
country
5 kilometers,
ideas.
in case the enemy breaks
yeah.
through the
yeah,
front,
yeah.
and
Insane
there is a
shit, probably
threat
good way
of
to
a
explain
rapid
it, to say
advance.
that.
And
Oh, the convoy,
he's got like a little
NAFO
friend.
convoy is
Is that his
basically...
daughter that he's got along with us today?
NAFO is
Yeah.
a
Yes.
Is it? Oh.
proper Twitter movement.
Hello. It must be nice for him
that
to be
started
able to
with
spend
people
some time
shit
with his
posting
daughter
Russians.
as well and pick up this truck.
The idea was, hey, Russian officials are allowed to be horrible on social media and spreading their lies, and no one's really doing anything about that. So let's organize and let's battle against it. So that's what we did. And then it grew into a really useful, at this point, really strong movement where we are donating a lot of cash money to Ukraine by doing regular fundraisers. So yeah, it's a great thing, genuinely. Convoys are basically a bunch of
possible and driving them off our
members
land. We
support
have very large drones
the movement
that drop
regularly,
bombs
and then we
mines
send
on
a lot
their
of new
dugouts,
vehicles straight
trenches,
to Ukraine, and then we have these
and
videos
destroy
with
them.
convoys being
Their
introduced,
losses
so we
are
can
very
see
high,
which
both
vehicles
in
we have
manpower
sent, and also
equipment.
which new fancy
They
ships
even
we've sent
nicknamed
them,
our drones as
so we knew where our
Baba
donations
Yaga.
are going.
Просто вони навіть прозвали наші пташки Баба Яга.
And are they still able to operate the drones even with very strong Russian RAB operating?
We're constantly modernizing our drones. You could even
Yeah,
say
NAFO's
we're
great,
tuning
by the
them.
way, NAFO's
This
great.
allows us
Million
to
out of 10.
effectively bypass their electronic warfare system.
They went to bullet Trump for one point. Do you guys remember
We
that?
use
They went to
cars
bullet
as
Trump.
our mobile crews.
What's Trump's
Thanks
thing?
to them, we can drive to hard-to-reach places
Truth
and
social?
remain undetected. As everyone knows,
There was
mobility
a point
and speed are
last
very
year
important on the front
where
line.
a bunch of
It
NAFO
allows
members
us to
went
quickly
to Truth
arrive
Social,
at the positions and leave
knocked
them.
it down for a while.
Евакуюватися з місця. Цей прапор підписаний.
This flag is signed by our company of combat unmanned aerial vehicles and our commanders.
Нашими командирами.
What unit they're with and what they do in the war?
Our unit is an 82 caliber
See,
mortar
there's
team.
always like a person doing the actual fundraising, the main dude, and then everyone else.
What does he see as the most important equipment that they need?
Give us F-16s, please, and more shells.
Yeah, I think we have a member of parliament here that we tried to get to bring the F-16. We all hope that the F-16s come as quickly as possible. But sadly, we can't buy fighter jets with the charity. If we could, we would. But we can give you this truck today. How will this be used? Will they actually attach the mortar to the back to bring it in and then put the shells inside? If they can explain how they will use it.
We carry our mortar in the trunk. The vehicle will be used to transport personnel and ammunition.
Oh wow, what's that? Is it a honey, it's the honey badger.
Marines, yeah.
It's the Marines.
It's a badger.
Yeah. The honey badger, isn't it? Yeah, it's the honey badger. It is. Yeah, the honey badger. Violent little thing. Yeah. Well, thank you. Daku.
And we thank you.
Are you an infantry unit, drones? Like what type of weapons?
Type of weapons? I'm just a machine gun.
You've brought this with us. I mean, this looks particularly
It's our girls. It's just draw it for you.
amazing. Oh, well,
Yeah.
so they've hand painted it all, have they?
Yeah.
Wonderful. How lovely. Thank you. Daku.
You go to Google Truth Social,
if you don't mind,
You got
we
to
want
Google
to
Truth
present
Social
our
on
flag
Wikipedia,
from our unit.
and they
It's
compare it to
231
some parlor
battalion.
thing, and then to some gap
And
thing.
our guys from our unit is just signing for you. It's from Donetsk region.
Oh.
Isn't that
Yeah,
a
from
mustard?
front line.
So you can see it has a Belgian flag on the truck. You
Yeah,
see
yeah,
here?
I see
Because we
Belgium.
have a very special.
Like Parley
Belgian
is right
supporter,
wing, and
Renault,
Gab
you can
says
see
it's
there with the
connected
camera,
to
and he's also got
far
his own
right.
battalion of the
But
69th
then
Sniffing
Mastodon is just
Brigade,
like
the
the only
Belgian
normal one
battalion.
out of the
And
group.
Renault has also bought some food from Belgium. Is that right?
Yes,
Isn't
of
it?
course, Belgian chocolate and other things that I hope help you. There are some medicine, paracetamol, vitamins, nuts. Oh, Belgian waffle.
Ah, the waffles.
Fair enough.
Valerie.
Weird little thing is going on
It's
there.
the name
You
of
say
my
that fair
wife.
enough.
Thank you. Давай,
Хочемо
okay.
дати наш
Oh,
We also present
thank
you
you,
our-
thank you a lot. And just a minute, I'm grateful for the Sniffing Brigade who give me this bomber jack.
Yeah.
And that's a patch
thank
of
you.
the Training Brigade. It's an F-16. And
we need them, yeah.
you don't really do one, but I have a second one.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you also. Thank you also.
Thank you.
So that
Nice.
is the end of Convoy 25 handover, the largest one we have done. Over $500,000 US of equipment, including 16 trucks, and over the course of this weekend, over
Yeah, it's a lot of
180
cars.
drones. We've seen the Baba Yaga
180
flying, the Needle
drones.
drone, and we've learnt from the soldiers the use of drones to carry evacuated wounded, and how important the support that we keep giving Ukraine is to them across the front lines. So thank you so much to everyone that has donated to the campaigns over Christmas, our record-breaking campaigns, and let's continue supporting Ukraine for the rest of 2024 so we can win this war. Slava Ukraini, Heroam Slava.
Oh, that was great. Man, that was amazing. It's a lot of fucking vehicles. I'm really happy to see that. All the countries that has democratic in their name, none of them are democracy. Okay, fair, let's do. It's like when Elon Musk says free speech, and he doesn't really support free speech. Man doesn't really give a shit about free speech, does he? Does he even know what it is? I'm not sure he does. So I see that. Volunteers can't win this war, that's true. But I think there's some value in Ukraine having continuous support. There's some value in that existing for Ukraine, you know? It's like, it's not really a situation comparable to a country that would be, would you say, betrayed? Left behind, in a way, left behind. I think there's immense value in them having these fundraisers and then getting so much support worldwide, and then also, getting good results from it. I think it's a great thing. Yeah, it does create changes. It's not a change that's going to turn the tide of this war, absolutely, but it's a change that matters. To an extent, it does matter. Wait, is it relevant though? Or is it a historian video? Why do you never give us your opinions, my dude? Why do you never give us your opinions though? Why do you always send videos? Do you not have like opinions you want to be sharing? Yeah, I know what it's about, but like, why is it always like, oh, I'm gonna send you a video instead of like, hey, I'm gonna speak my mind so we can like get a thought of that. It feels like you like watching a lot of like reactionary people. You like get a bunch of videos because it seems like a 10-minute long like historian video, dude. That's some historian dude. Yeah, I don't care that much. My thing is basically I don't really care about the historic claims to land, and that's that. And I'm gonna watch 10 minutes of a historian talking about this. I'm gonna be like, yeah, alright. It's not a YouTube short. I would prefer YouTube short sometimes. It's like, how much do I care? I don't really know. How much do I really care about the history of the nation? You gotta find some people who are more into this conversation than I am, to be wanting to watch really, really long videos on this. I'm kind of, I'm here like if you want to speak your mind on this, but am I here to do historic research on Israel and Palestine to figure out who has a historic claim to land? Not really. I don't even believe in a historic claim to land. For me, it's all like, I don't care who was there first. The war economy is in full swing without a lot of billions in military aid. True. That's why we can hope that they're going to be crumbling. British. Trying to make Israel look bad. I don't know who's supposed to be looking bad. It's one of those things that, would I watch a smart-ass historian talk 10 minutes about any topic? I don't really think. I don't think there's historic claims. I don't care. I genuinely can give less of a shit. It's like when people do the whole thing with like, oh, Palestine didn't even exist until the Brits made a colony. Brits made a colony, basically. Mandate that, right? Palestine didn't exist until then, so that means it's a fake country. I don't give a shit about those claims. I think those claims are stupid. I think the second that you call it a fake country, you're doing a stupid claim, right? The second you call some country fake, you're being dumb. You're being a dumpy dump, and you should know you're being a dumpy dump. And then when people go, yeah, this is where like the name was first used, and this is where the city was first built here, I don't really give a shit. I don't believe in historic claims. Right? If I believed in historic claims, Balkans would be in like 5 wars at this point. All started by me because I've got a claim to a bunch of land in Serbia that I want right now, alright? I don't believe in that shit. Everything's a fake country, yeah? All countries are fake. We just drew the borders kind of the way we like them. And then we put them where we like them. And then they just stayed there. All of that can be fake countries. You go far deep into history, all of our countries didn't exist. So yeah. It's not really a claim that I give too many shits about. 800 years ago, Prince Rurik, yeah, that's too. Like, couldn't you? Come on. I feel if you wanted, if you like really, really wanted, you could do that for every single country. You could do that for every single country. You could be like, oh yeah, Germany, I feel like we're Germans. I feel we should have a claim to Hungary. And I feel if you give me like 20 minutes of time to do research, I could draw you out how Hungary is a fake country and Germany actually should be able to own their lands. It's stupid. I don't believe in historic claims. Palestine, the fact that it exists right now is a country that is not Israel. That's it. It's an area right now that is not the area of Israel. I don't think they need to be pulling from any sort of a historic claim. Israel has its own land that was, given to it by the Brits at the time. That's that. I don't really feel Palestine needs to be like, oh yeah, well, thousands of years ago we used to be here, so this is ours. No, you have your land. You have your land. This is your land. That's that. Such Lorraine land. Oh, nice. So Germany-based. Ancestral land claims in Normandy. I mean, good luck. You go to those historic claim people. I feel you could. I feel it would actually work, unironically. Fake country, bad. So-called Russia-based. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. Because I'm salty about the name. I feel that's how people are taking it. Like, you're being salty about the name. but you're not being salty about. You're not calling it a fake country. It would be stupid to call it a fake country. It's a country, right? But like, Destiny versus Finkelstein. What is it happening? Are they gonna do it? I haven't watched Destiny in a while. Size of your country has nothing to do with how wealthy or happy you will be. I think that's why irredentists are mostly idiots. It's because irredentists are people who are unhappy and they feel like the size of their country is actually going to change their amount of happiness. It's like how Serbs now think that they are really poor because Serbia was big when Yugoslavia was around, and now Serbia is smaller when Yugoslavia is not around. And because Serbia is smaller now and has a smaller area of influence, no one really gives a shit about them. And because no one really gives a shit about them, no one really wants to be trading with them. And because no one wants to be trading with them and doing business with them, Serbia is doing horribly as a country. So if we go and if we get more territories, we would be happier. And it's always the claim of like the little people in society. Redentism, I think, is very populist in nature. It's rarely the rich people who are falling for that shit, the normal people who are productive members of society. It's gonna be some villages. Like Orban's voters base, which is basically just farmers. It's gonna be that shit. It's not gonna be people who are like actually productive, Finkelstein on 3 times speed sounds like a normal person. Wait, on 28th? On 28th. When's that? Hey, Wednesday, we're actually doing a stream on Wednesday. No, wait, is it 28th like American or 28th mine? What time in my normal time zone?
Ми витратили стільки часу на російську опозицію, але після вбивства Навального стало зрозуміло, що вона абсолютно безпомічна і ні на що не впливає, і що мирним шляхом нічого не досягти. Тож єдиний спосіб закінчення цієї війни – це військова поразка Росії, і потрібно повністю зосередитись на військовій допомозі України. Ну нарешті ви це зрозуміли. Не так быстро. Всегда делайте различия между Путиным и Россией, ведь только на Путине лежит персональная ответственность за весь тот ужас, что он сотворил с Россией. А я продолжу дело Алексея. И все мы, сплотившись против зла, будем бороться за нашу страну, не жалея себя, со всей силы мечтать о прекрасной России будущего. Тобто ви продовжите збирати фінансову підтримку і нічого не робити, так?
Угу.
Невже ви вважаєте, що на це хтось знову поведеться? Бля.
Proper. Proper. For real though. Hey, also I say the Blood Vexel video. But like a proper one, look, edited and everything. He did the camera things. He did the little camera movements.
To the war, and little by little the West is at risk of abandoning Ukraine. We need a reality check about why we're in this place and what we can do to get out of it. Here is what will happen if Ukraine is forced into a peace. A Russo-Chinese quasi-alliance would have got away with redrawing European borders and conquering territory. If that happens, then you, if you're European, or your allies, if you're in the USA, would live under security arrangements that are a product of the power exercise of a Russo-Chinese alliance on European soil. Here is what else would happen. The peace may well not last. Putin will not stop unless he is stopped or unless he runs out of capacity. For the Kremlin, peace negotiations are a means of winning the war. More on that in a moment. If Russia resumes the war after the peace, NATO's survival could be at risk. Russia could resume the war in Ukraine or against NATO, for instance via an incursion in the Baltics. If Russia attacked NATO, for us that would be a new war, but not so for the Kremlin. Putin thinks he is already engaged in a defensive, necessary, existential, provoked escalation against the West, of which Ukraine is just one chapter. Let's be clear, the Kremlin doesn't want a big war with the West, just a confrontation. The terminus of the confrontation for the Kremlin is a challenge to Article 5
from which NATO runs away, thereby making it obsolete. In Russia, nobody can stop the Kremlin. Putin's brutal killing of Navalny has dashed hope in an already deeply depoliticized society. But contrary to Putin's grandiose mystical visions, he ain't alone in the world. There are others, we are among them, and we can stop him. But so far, we haven't. We've made life difficult for him, but we haven't gone for the jugular. We haven't made things existential for Putin. I want to go on a two-part rant that takes us to the core of the problem that we're in. First, we're in this mess because we still struggle to understand the Putin regime. But second, and more importantly, because of the weakness of our democracies at home, we struggle to come up with strategy abroad. There are three things that we struggle to understand about the Kremlin. The Kremlin's foreign escalations
should have saved another
are
video.
driven
This
by
reminds me
regime
of it.
security. The
One on
Kremlin has a
Poland.
dogmatic belief about the weakness and decline of the West. And the Kremlin is apocalyptic in some of its thinking. Let's do regime security first. It's my view that regime security and war are now constitutively linked for the Putin regime. That doesn't just mean that more war is in the heads of Putin, Patrushev and the Kovalchuk brothers. It means that they are somewhat locked into this path by a reset they are experiencing onto a war footing that percolates the regime's propaganda, the regime's transformation of the education system, the regime's marination in the ideological wash they like to enjoy bathing themselves in, and the regime's transformation of the economy. The second thing we've got to understand about the Kremlin is their dogma about our weakness. They don't just have an empirical belief about the decline of Western democracies mediated by a crisis of trust. They believe that democracy is ephemeral. They believe that might is right, and that anybody who distinguishes power from authority is delusional. And they think that we, with our democratic institutions and our siren songs about democratic values, are going down. We're going to recede into history. And when you combine this with the Kremlin's view that the sovereignties of East European countries are toy sovereignties and that they have proprietorial claims,
Wait, does he even like give
get
any?
to the core of the issue, which
I
is
usually
that
just
our
Google what he
weakness
says.
and our democratic decline is the Kremlin's theory of victory.
Oh no, he
Let's
gives
do
you
the
like a
third
bunch
thing
of
we've
his own
got to
videos.
grasp, which is that the
Cute.
Kremlin is way more apocalyptic than most analysts allow. And we struggle to see this because of a couple of dispositions we have. We like to connect the
It
Russian
hasn't really
threat
crossed
with
my
the
mind, 'cause I
Soviet
usually
threat.
just, like, Google
And we like to think
his
of
own
international
words.
conflict as based on economics type rationality. But Putin's regime is in some ways more like Al-Qaeda than Brezhnev's USSR. And their values aren't just power, security, wealth acquisition. They're also historical self-realization. We're dealing with ideas about how the cultural destiny of a nation can be expressed in the will of a single
Cultural
individual.
destiny
That's
of nation.
Wagnerian stuff. And you're not going to read this in international relations textbooks. So we're dealing with an increasingly fanatical, somewhat apocalyptic, escalatory project which connects regime security with war and is dogmatic about our democratic collapse. These aren't just fancy thoughts for a philosophical seminar. They capture the outlook of the Kremlin, which informs the kind of threat that Biden and Macron and Scholz and Sunak and Starmer face. But grasping them isn't the only issue, because we've been having a problem putting up a convincing response. Let's talk about that. What's up with us is that we've got two obvious problems. We're struggling to support Ukraine enough, and we're struggling to come up with a strategy for the ex-Soviet space. But what's less obvious is why we're so stuck in these problems. But let's look at the problems first. Little by little, we're drifting toward abandoning Ukraine, though we won't abandon her entirely. We need to acknowledge that. Wishful thinking is a big part of politics, and seeing what you want to see rather than what's there is a very natural human instinct. But it's not helpful to stand around saying there are no weeds, when there are weeds around you. We witnessed a small number of Republicans in the House of Representatives obstructing aid for Ukraine, and getting military aid to Ukraine will not get easier. By 2025, we could have the orange thing in the White House, and the orange thing may wish to force Ukraine into an unsustainable peace without security guarantees. We've got to get real here. We're 2 years into the war, and are we backing Ukraine to regain its territories? No. Are we backing Ukraine to sacrifice its territories in exchange for EU accession and Western security guarantees?
No, we just smoke them all. Oh.
Maybe. Slightly siding
That's
toward
with
a no
Republicans.
than a yes. So that's our first problem.
So
our
we can get some
second
aid.
problem is a lack of strategy. We have half a strategy toward Ukraine and virtually no strategy toward Russia. Our Ukraine strategy is to support Ukraine a little into the future and then see what happens. Our strategy for the politicization of the Russian space essentially doesn't exist, even though transformation on the Belarusian and on the Russian space is central
Sneaking
to
aid into
resolving the
unrelated
security
bills,
crisis
and even
that
then
we're
it
all
doesn't
facing in Europe
work.
today. So our problems are unreliable support for Ukraine and a lack of strategy. And the million-dollar question
I
is,
feel like
can
Biden
we
should
get
do
out
a
of
lot
these
more, though.
problems?
I'm kind of.
I want to recommend 3 remedies that are very far
I wish he
from
were willing to take more
but they're
power
a
in
lot
his
better than
hands.
nothing. First, we've got to acknowledge where we're at and acknowledge how prone we are to denying where we're at. Let's be clear, it is pious and delusional to go on about keeping the rules-based liberal international order alive. It is broken. Part of the reason Putin invaded Ukraine in 2014 and followed that up with a full-scale invasion in 2022 is that the international order was broken. Putin's extreme conduct isn't a bug, it is a feature of the state of the international system. Just a very
To be fair, though, I do think they're
extreme
shit in a
feature.
way
And
that's
we've
like.
got to realize that we can achieve more within our limitations if we stop denying them.
Almost.
Second, we've got to put at the center of our politics a conversation
Expectedly
about
shit.
renewing the
And I feel
international
they're
order.
uniquely
It's
shit.
tempting to say, forget about your conversations. Ukraine
And I don't
needs
feel
help
they're
now,
shit in a way
and
that
we need
threatens
to
our
act.
existence
But that
now.
is, again, an appeal
Also,
to
they
the
should be doing a lot
willpower
more.
of our democratic representatives.
Could be
that
sending
has
excess supply,
repeatedly
yeah.
failed. Instead, we
He
need
can,
to
like,
make
there's
proposals for a
things he can do
renewed
outside of the
international order
bipartisan bill
and
that he
take
tries to push.
responsibility for
There's things he
our,
can
the
do.
West's role in breaking the
ain't doing it.
post-1989 world order. Take Iraq.
I think it's
And
partially
we need
because
to
like the
invite
pre-election
Ukraine and
situation is going
anti-Putin
on.
Russians into this
So
conversation.
he doesn't want to take any
It is
drastic steps.
magical thinking for
But,
Ukrainians
yeah.
and oppositional Russians to talk about
Seems very
joining the
convenient for
civilized
Russians, you know.
world. That is a bit like sending a letter to an address that doesn't exist anymore. Third, we need to acknowledge Western democratic decline and stop blaming it exclusively on irrationality of voters and malign foreign interference. Our citizens are feeling unsafe, disempowered, betrayed, and lost. We can't ask them to back large-scale actions abroad if these actions are executed by institutions in which they have lost trust and which they find opaque. The solution isn't to tell citizens to wise up, it's to try and to be seen trying to do something about this. If we don't, we're going to make Putin's path easier, including his path of challenging
smaller
Article
things like
5.
sending
The
Greek
higher the
weapons,
trust
yeah,
in
yeah.
institutions in our societies,
He
the
can do a
easier
lot
it
more.
would be for us to generate an
He's
international strategy.
like, I'm not trying to say that he's
and
horrible, you know.
gather
I don't
civic
think he's
support for
horrible. I think he's alright.
all of this requires a deeper understanding of the social
I just feel like we
forces
need
that are
more than
undermining our
alright at this
democracies
point, and we're
and
not
of
really getting
why
it.
the post-1989 global
Uses the
order
conflict a
collapsed.
bit
And for
too
that,
much for
watch this
political
video.
gains. Yeah, it's like, you know. I wish he was a bit more active on this. I wish he was willing to be a lot more active, actually. I wish he was willing to be a lot more active. And he just doesn't seem to be willing to do that. But hey, where did I save my Poland thing? Here it is, here it is. I saved a video on Poland. And then an ad apparently before the video. But the video is
From
about
2000
how a bunch of European countries are going right-wing and Poland is going the exact opposite. I thought it was wholesome.
2023, peace was the high school bully.
I think
of
it's
Polish
awesome how all of
politics.
us are seeing, you
Winning
know,
the national
all of
election-
our countries are being like, oh, you know what would be a solution to all of our problems? A right-wing government. While Poland, which actually tried the right-wing government, Poland's trying to run away from that shit. I think it's kind of interesting that we're not learning more from them, from like their mistakes.
in 2015, and then dominating the European election in 2019, with 45% of the vote. They secured 27 out of Poland's 52 seats in the European Parliament, forming the lion's share of the ECR group, nearly half, to which peace is aligned. But oh, how the mighty can stumble. Fast forward to the present, and the political landscape in Poland has done a full 180. Donald Tusk is back in town as Prime Minister, and he's not playing around. Tusk has cut off PiS's connection to state-owned corporations and to government funds, all previously used by the party
All going
to
full
boost its
anarchist.
electoral chances. The aftermath? A Polish political earthquake, with aftershocks reaching the polls. PiS's popularity has dipped from a confident stride to a hesitant crawl, with only 29% of voter support, down 16% from 2019.
Nice.
Should the elections be held today, only 17 Polish
May it get worse.
MEPs would represent the ECR group, marking a significant drop of 10 seats from the 2019 tally. The first domino has already toppled. Ryszard Legutko, a leading figure within the ECR group in the European Parliament, is poised to lose his job.
Oh.
According to Polish media, his position is being passed on to Dominik Tarczyński, known for his vigorous right-wing stance. Meanwhile, Tusk's Civic Coalition leads with 32%, with coalition partners also set to gain EU Parliament seats, marking Poland as a standout in resisting Europe's right-wing surge. If the current trends hold, the upcoming election could see the EPP outflanking the ECR as the new home for the majority of Polish
Oh,
MPs,
Hungary?
while the Brothers of Italy could emerge as the new heavyweights within the ECR. Welcome to Road
Brothers
to
of
the EU
Italy, yeah.
Elections, Episode 1. Our goal is to make the European elections fun and simple. Each episode will feature a spotlight story.
If Poland
like
is
this
going
one's
to lose
focus
on
on
abortion
Poland,
restrictions,
followed by
I
the
don't know
polls
how much they
and the
want
race
to
for
do
Commission
that.
President.
I wish. I don't know how much support there is in society overall for that. I hope there's a lot, because like if you look at USA and the shit USA is doing, you know, like first they made abortions pretty much illegal in a bunch of states. Did you say they banned IVF? Pretty much banned IVF in some states. They're wild. USA is going wild over this. So I think any normal government would see that and go, "Ew." And yeah, I feel we really should be more active when it comes to that. But yeah, when it comes to Hungary, I feel Hungary. I hope Hungary is able to do that. I feel like Hungary is so supportive of Orban. I don't know if they want to go and replace him. Yeah, pick a link. Clitoral erections, yeah. You didn't know? It's like a tiny dick. It's basically a dick. Basically a dicky. Oh. So yeah, he does get direct. True. We had some dumbass conversations about the topic. So we already went through some Israel chaos, to be honest. Frozen embryos are legal children. Yeah, like that, and people can be held liable for their destruction. Yeah. Oh. Nah, dumbasses, fucking dumbasses. Lake NATO is becoming a reality. True, I'm very happy for that. I'm very, very happy for that. Also kind of surprised because I saw the votes. The numbers of votes when Hungarians voted. Quite a lot of them supported Sweden getting into NATO. I didn't expect it to be that high, to be honest. I expected it to be like close, but the overwhelming majority was on the side of Sweden getting into NATO. So that was kind of unexpected.
Are
Hungarians
you new to
being more
politics? Then check out the linked video above
normal
for a starter on European Parliament
than
political
expected, you know?
groups. So subscribe today.
Yeah, I
And
guess
continue
Orban
supporting
changed
our
his
mission
mind, so they
to
changed it
educate
too.
the public about the EU.
It
Consider
does
signing
seem
up to
something like that.
Patreon.
Yeah, you know,
Let's
like
jump
neutral
straight into
or like
section 2 of our
close.
video,
I
the
didn't
current
expect such a
polls.
huge
This
difference
chart shows
in
you
numbers.
the current setup of the European Parliament. If an election were held today,
I need
we'd
to look
witness
into the
notable
Alabama thing. I
shifts in
didn't look
political
into it too
power.
much.
The EPP and the S&D would remain influential, but with a slight decrease in their strength. On the other hand, the ECR is poised to get a lot of new seats, despite the reduced support from Poland that we discussed earlier. Renew Europe faces a substantial setback, projected to lose 17 seats, significantly impacted by the falling popularity of Macron's party in France.
Macron's
Meanwhile,
party in
the
France.
IND political group is
10
on the
kilometer
rise,
congratulations.
benefiting
How was
greatly
it? How
from
did
the
you
Pence
survive?
party's strong performance
How
against
did you do
Macron.
that?
Intriguingly,
Wait. Ew, Le Pen? Ew. Okay, so it says, ruling from Alabama Supreme Court has ruled that frozen embryos are considered children and that a person could be held liable for accidentally destroying them. The decision has thrown the future of IVF treatments in the state of doubt, with a host of healthcare providers suspending the service. Medical experts, reproductive advocacy groups warned the ruling could have negative consequences for fertility treatments in Alabama and beyond. Some anti-abortion groups applauded the ruling, arguing that embryos deserve greater legal protection. If anti-abortion people say that you are correct, you know that you are incorrect. Literally 1994. True! I am teaching you about the dangers of putting your trust in a dictator. That is true. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Yes, this is a learning experience. So when Orban comes into your country, or your version of Orban, and tries to get votes, you can go, no, I will not give you votes. I've learned on Vicky's stream what happens when I give you people anything. A crumb of trust. I don't remember last time I ran. I ran 6 kilometers 6 times a week. Why? Is there a reason? Is there someone chasing you? Are there like wild dogs? Do you have to walk like 7 kilometers to your workplace, but your neighbor has some rabid dogs? So then you have to run there so they don't catch you? Why would you guys go run? Who goes running? Jamaica flag, I can do that. Why would you go running though? Trying to stay alive? Yeah, so you don't run. Unless a rabid dog is catching you, which I feel is Jamaica. Which I do feel is, you know, an important thing to mention. Because if that's happening, I understand you. Why would you guys go running? Are you okay? Actually, no, I take that back. I sound like Thompson. Have you been on Thompson's stream where people were talking about doing yoga? People were talking about doing yoga. And he goes, why are you guys doing yoga? And they're like, I'm doing yoga because I want to be able to like touch the floor without bending my knees. And he's like, well, why would you want to do that? I feel like that now. I sensed a part of this. Like it's alright. It's a healthy thing. It just feels very painful, and I admire you people for doing it. I tried running for like a week. It was interesting. Doctor gave me blood pressure meds a few years ago. Now I don't need it anymore. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. That's impressive. Nice. I'm gonna tell my grandmother to start running too. Seven kilometers makes no sense. Just to get sweaty. I mean, it is. I don't know what's a normal running distance. How much people usually run. I don't really know. To be completely honest, I don't know how much is 7 kilometers. That's what I'm gonna tell you. I know what's 2 kilometers because we had a competition thing close to my house, and it's like 2 kilometers down and then 2 kilometers up. So I know that. But then 7 seems like quite a lot, to be honest, if you would like being political. It's called October Rains, but has no explicit political lyrics, and it's more of an analogy. When Croatia last year was extremely political against Putin and very explicit. It's hypocritical as fuck. Oh, yeah, I actually, you have come to the right place to complain, because I absolutely despise, hate, you could say. I hate the rule against political songs in Eurovision. I think think it's a shit rule. I think it's a crap rule. I think if I want to go on that stage and to sing about how my prime minister is a little cock bitch, I think I should be allowed to do that. Right? If I make a nice little catchy tune to go along with it, I don't see why I shouldn't be allowed to do that. I feel I should be allowed to do that. So yeah, I understand. I'm not really happy about Moldova's in 2000. Oh, that one was great! Oh, that one was great too, but true, very political. Croatian this year is very political. Croatian this year is very political because it's also about the state of Croatia's... but it's more of an analogy. You could say it like that. Because it's about people of this country who had to leave it to go work abroad. That's what the song is inspired by, right? It's about people, mostly people from villages. I have music video opened here in the tab somewhere. People who have to leave to go find work abroad because our economy is so shit. Which also, like, inherently it's political. A lot of the messages that our countries are sending are inherently political, and I think that's absolutely fine, and I'm salty that they are not allowing political songs. I think they should be allowed. No, it's stupid. It's very, very stupid. But also Croatia last year was incredible. I was so happy. I was so proud of Croatia last year. Genuinely proud of the song. I think that's the best thing we sent to Eurovision ever. I love that song. True, maybe my man likes sweat. Maybe my man likes sweat. At least Israel has another song. Oh, nice, really? Also, they disqualified one song, but you can just come in with another one. I didn't know how that goes. I want to say... Yeah, that's two, yeah. It's not tied to the name of Israel. Oh. Glorifying Hamas song from Ireland. Is the homeless dude from the parliament gonna be singing it? Terrorism actually good. Person who represents Luxembourg is Israeli. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Wait, Twitter. Aporto. Turu, 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 turu. He's being racist again on Twitter? Unexpected. What a piece of shit that man is. Isn't pretending to care about farmers in Europe. Ew. Ew. Ugh. A few days, Destiny will debate. No, Finkelstein. Yeah, I saw someone talking about that. 28th, right? I think on 28th. I kind of want to watch some of his debates. Half of all Jews in Germany have a Ukrainian background, really? Nice. No, I had no idea. Nice, that's interesting. Hello. Wait, where is she? Where is she? She in UK? See, she's in USA. I follow Dr. Inna. She is a Jewish refugee from Soviet Union. An incredible woman. She taught me so much about the history of Ukrainian Jews, really. She supports Ukraine fully, completely. She's actually from Ukraine. And she taught me a lot about the history of Ukrainian Jews and about how they had to escape and about the history of her family and everything. It's really, really... You get a lot of details that I feel like statistics just kind of aren't able to tell you. It's one of the most pro-Ukraine group we have. Nice. Oh, nice. Yerkin saw no evidence. I saw no evidence. I saw zero evidence of that, so don't trust it. If he did hang himself, it will make no difference, but I don't think he did. What's going on with the farmers in Europe? They're like bitching. They like bitching. We have this thing where our people love to be complaining about shit constantly, and this is just the current thing that they're complaining about. There's nothing too dramatic going on with the farming, and even worse so, I've seen, was it Latvia? Latvia brought out, listen, the idea that they brought out, I think it was Latvia, that we should fully ban the import of Russian grain, and instead of importing Russian grain, we should be only importing Ukrainian grain. Why now, 2 years into the war, we thought of this? I thought we already banned imports of Russian grain. Like, Poles had to do really stupid shit with protesting for me to learn that we're still getting Russian grain. Why the fuck are we still getting Russian grain and then bitching about getting Ukrainian grain? Such a stupid thing. Such an incredibly stupid thing we are doing. Destiny? Isn't a Peter, isn't a commie, has high profile debates against people like Jordan Peterson or Ben Shapiro. I do think the Vosh meme is kind of interesting. Interestingly believable. But yeah. No, I quite support Destiny. I do think he's able to explain his points well. It's something I'm usually, liking in political streamers. I feel if you ask him a question about his opinions, he can explain why he has these opinions. So I can support that. Both the Conservatives and Labour are pro-Ukraine, but I do have some suspicions about Tories. There's been some reports of them accepting Russian oligarch money and also some of their senior MPs supporting Trump. Oh yeah, that's very concerning. That's true. TikTok interview in street with boy with Nazi patches, and he was like, I support Israel, it's our allies. Yeah, it's kind of... it's because the whole thing with imagery has been... What's the word? It loses its meaning after a while. It becomes just like edgy bullshit. And I feel a lot of people are just falling for that. I feel a lot of people, especially when it comes to like extremists in Azov, let's say, I feel they see Nazis more as like people who fought with the Soviets and the Red Army rather than the actual horrible reality of what it is. But then also I do feel like a lot of them are just Nazis, which is why I feel the whole imagery should stop being used, absolutely. Yeah, but like it's a lolly thing. It's like you're a weirdo, but like are you a pedo? Lolly, it's like anime bullshit. It's anime bullshit. It's a hentai thing. Lollies are like extremely young looking characters. But it's like, I don't know, like, look, in my view, it's like you watch hentai in the first place, you're like kind of fucked in the head. And I don't really think what sort of hentai you watch matters. I feel you're kind of fucked in the head overall. I didn't finish my video. But she's 3,000 years old, true. His wife denied his death. I apologize that I rushed to publish unverified information. GG with the apology. GG with the apology. I don't even know where they got the information though. Oh yeah, he was found that they just published it. Where did they get it? From like a Telegram or something? We need to stop following Twitter people for news. The Russian deputy who killed the old woman went to fight in Ukraine. Former official is now serving in the Stormzy assault force. It became known after a publication of a video in which he thanked for the humanitarian aid he received. Oh, Oh wait, the term lolly comes from the book Lolita? I didn't know that. I didn't know it comes from the book. I do know that if a person tells you that's their favorite book, that's a red flag. That's what I do know. That's a red flag. I have glossed over the book personally. Couldn't give too much crap about it at the time of learning that it exists and being interested. There's interesting themes in the book itself, definitely. I do, though, feel that a lot of people are, liking it because if you read it shallowly enough, it encourages that sort of a relationship. Do not confuse this person for some sort of a peace lover. Bro, of course we wouldn't. He's directly contradicting Newland's narrative. Newland? And Newland? Newland's narrative, this idiot goes. I had no idea the term lolly comes from that, though. I don't actually know what I thought about the term. I never thought about the term too much. Just never, the words are almost the same, too. What? Oh, Rogozin. Ah, of course. Yep. Free speech, Elon Musk. Yeah, it's basically what the book is. True. There was a movie. Wasn't there a movie? Am I thinking of a movie? I think there was a movie made after the book, and the movie is also really weird. Yeah, there's a movie. How's this not banned on X? Free speech. Free speech, Kim. You coming from Germany, the land of censored speech, you may not know what free speech is, okay? But over there in the country of America, they actually have free speech. More than one movie? Like 10 movies? How many movies? The fuck? Film. Okay, film. Oh, they actually do have a lot. They have it referenced a lot too. They got songs about it and shit. Oh, I saw the Hassan Luffy interview. That was bad. You know what we did? We opened it on stream, and the start of the interview, Hassan goes, "Hee, do you watch One Piece?" And I got annoyed and I stopped the video. And then it turns out that if I only let it go for a few seconds later, it would get even worse. Because Hassan, all giggly, like a little schoolgirl moron, he goes, "Hee, do you watch One Piece?" And the dude's like, "Yeah." And Hassan goes, "Hey, because we think you just like Luffy." That's a grown-ass man. That's a grown-ass man interviewing a fucking terrorist and comparing him to an anime character. Grown-ass fucking man. Just an adult. He can vote. That man can vote. That man has more cash money than any of us will ever make in life. Streaming is a hard job. Bullshit. But streaming might be a hard job if you actually do it as something, how to say it? You know how there's streamers who actually put a lot of effort and very hard work into creating their streams? And you know how there's a bunch of streamers who are just chilling around having fun? I feel Hassan is the one chilling around having fun. It's not hard It's not hard at all, especially when you get the amount of cash money he's getting. It's not hard at all. There's nothing to be hard, really. He doesn't have a day job he has to do on the side or anything. He's just chilling. He turns on the camera and everything. Sits there, watches anime, eats for a while, goes to sleep. Come on. Like bullshit. It's not a hard job at all. Yeah, like no, that's a rich person trying to bitch. It's all the richy people. You know how rich people sometimes do the thing. Celebrities like to do this. Movie stars and shit. Where they do the thing where it's like, oh, it's so hard for me to diet. Oh, it's so hard for me. I have to give up like cheeseburgers to get into this outfit for this premiere. Oh, it's so hard for me. It's not hard. They're eating shit. They're eating shit because they want you to feel closer to them. It's not hard for them at all. That's what Hassan's doing, where he's like, yeah, it's so hard to stream, guys. I totally understand how you guys have a job and you work so hard at your job, and then I'm here and I work so hard at my job too. Nah. If streaming can be compared to a job, it would be one of those like lazy ass bullshit jobs where you sit in an office and just like chill around. And it's even better than that because you're actually having fun while doing it and you choose your own topics. Like it's one of the easiest jobs ever, genuinely. Bullshit. Child modeling. Ooh. Child modeling in Russia. Is that like beauty pageants for kids in USA? Vast uptick in attacks deeper into Russian territory. With home-built Ukrainian missiles and drones targeting military facilities, munition factories, and energy infrastructure. Look at us. Oh, look at us. Nice. Oh, damn. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, by the way, there was a strike on Crimea recently. I mean, like, few minutes ago recently. I saw it. I saw people reporting on it. So I don't know what happened. Streaming has to be harder for someone so preoccupied with their image. Could see that. There's a niche you have to be stepping into. But I don't know how much his image is divorced from his reality. I don't really know for any streamers how that goes. How much is their image divorced from their reality? You know, like how much of it is acting and how much of it is just him being himself genuinely. Gag against Trump over the hush money case. Whoa! Yeah, I saw some people fighting today about whether or not he will have to pay some amount, but I don't understand USA courts. Holy shit, do I not understand what people are fighting about. Estonia has given 4 times as much aid to Ukraine per its GDP than any other nation. True, be like Estonia. Be like Estonia. It's not actually hard, but they create the pressure for themselves. Like Hassan with the need to always be right. True. Alright, I see that. Hassan being cancelled? It's Hassan. He probably, I don't know, compared someone else to Luffy? Who else did he compare to Luffy?
Hassan is the biggest left-leaning political streamer in the world, informing people
Crazy or stupid enough? You mean Estonia is?
Baying pig! You bloodthirsty, violent pig dog!
Court cases,
What did he say?
Bloodthirsty fantasies that they've all had,
and cultural debates.
You are just a trans person. Sorry, you don't know what the you're talking about.
But he is not informed or consistent on any of it, making arguments as if he's some sort of military missiles expert.
Do you think that that is a misfire from a rocket? Because I've shown you the misfires from Hamas rockets. It does not look like that.
If someone shares a different opinion that he doesn't agree with, he calls them racist, transphobic, genocidal.
Oh wait, is it because he said streaming is hard?
He doesn't have to actually engage with their argument.
You bad faith.
Is that why he got cancel culture?
Bloodthirsty, genocidal.
Because I just see people memeing him about having to work.
I don't know why anyone would be surprised with Hassan. His
Okay,
entire
Ukraine
life
lost
is a
cows.
hypocrisy. He's a
And
multi-millionaire
pumpkins.
socialist with a
Thank you.
$200,000 car living in a $3 million mansion. But remember, he only bought the car because he wanted his community to have fun. He didn't actually want it.
Wait, I wasn't listening to this man. I was trying to Google for
I might not even buy this
news,
car,
and by
yeah,
news I mean
too
Twitter.
much of a hassle. But like I literally do this for that.
Yeah, he spent 150 grand on a car so Austin Ox can make a 30-second video.
No, literally, yeah. So we can all have fun.
That's
like,
how good he has it, baby.
So no, I mean I'm not even kidding. Yeah, so my community can have fun. Like
he bought it because he's really generous, guys. Remember, Hassan lives on a basic necessity budget.
They live on a basic necessity budget for the most part anyway, okay?
Oh yeah,
This guy wears outfits that
of
cost more
Twitch
than most
streaming.
people's cars, but hey.
He said something about Twitch streaming being really hard, and then someone said that someone took it out of context, being like, "Oh, Hassan said that talking at the computer is harder than a real job." Yeah, and then they were basically just fighting. They were just fighting. That was that. It's just a fight over him possibly saying something stupid. I love how I go into the comments and I see people being like, "Oh, his entire fan base are Americans." I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Now it's actually my room, but I'm turning the I'm redecorating the part of it. So currently this is the part that is under control. Because I'm having to bring a lot of new shit in, especially during this this week. So we're doing some redecorations. I'm getting a bunch of new shit installed. Haha. Weirdly pro-Chinese Communist Party. Yeah, because they're not the West. And because they're not the West, Hassan is like, yeah, they are nice. There's this thing about like anti-Western people being really not I don't want to say pro-China. I want to say dismissive of the claims of the genocide of Muslims in China, and I thought that was kind of interesting. It's a very
Basic necessity budget. I don't care if people are rich. It's their money. They earned it. Spend it however you want. My problem is Hassan makes it sound like he does it for you. He is completely self-serving. He will actively advocate for the removal of copyright law because he steals content on
To be fair, okay, like here's my thing though. I don't feel like anyone should be looking into Twitch streamers for like morality. And genuinely, it's I feel you should be looking for in what Twitch streamers are doing if you want a lesson on how to be a moral person. I can understand it's his business strategy, and because it's his business strategy to stream for a long time without doing anything, because he doesn't really give a shit. It's a hard job, by the way. He's fighting against copyright, and that's seen as immoral, and I understand that. It's just that I don't really know if you should look at Twitch streamers for morality lessons. It's different when it comes to Twitch streamers who actually have some sort of education in this, but I don't really think it's surprising that a man is kind of he's China good because he's against Western unipolar hegemony. Yeah, it's very similar to Dugin. Who did he say that Russia supports? Dugin has this one interview, but Dugin is an imbecile, so I don't really remember his own words. But Dugin has this one interview in which he says that Russia specifically chose to support one side because they wanted to be against the West. So the West was like, I support this side. So then Russia was like, yeah, we support this side now because we're against you. And I feel that's, that's comparable to Hassan supporting China because he's against Western unipolar hegemony. But then it's so easy to get him into, not advocating for, but ignoring the very real possibility of an actual attempted genocide of Uyghur Muslims happening in China. It's very easy to just turn him to be relatively chill with it just because it's against the West. It's like, oh, it would be so easy to get some of these people to support the Nazi party if you just, gave them the proper reasoning to do so. It would be so very easy. I bring my own morality. I feel that's good. And I feel like discussing, different ideas is also good. Thompson did this very interesting stream once, in which he went to ChatGPT. I know it's a brand at this point, but he went to ChatGPT and he was asking him about morality. And then there was like a lot of discussion in chat about the different types of morality and the ways that people view morality. And like, does intent matter more than results of your actions, stuff like that. And I think it's really, really interesting. But overall, I don't really think going to streamers and expecting a lot of morality from them makes a lot of sense. It's like people sitting at a computer for a lot of time. USRs. Oh yeah, I saw him. I feel at this point in existing as humanity, we could have learned that self-immolation in order to bring attention to a cause is not a useful way to try to bring attention to a cause, you know what I mean? Because, like, didn't we already have people burning themselves alive for, like, to fight climate change? To put more attention onto the fight against climate change? And the only thing it results in is, like, for 2 days you're gonna be talked about in the newspapers, and then everyone's going to forget about you. You know what I mean? I don't really think that this is an useful thing to do. So from the first place, I'm like, why? What did you hope to accomplish? Because surely you knew you weren't going to accomplish much. But then also, people glorifying it is definitely weird. I've definitely seen a lot of interesting comments on it. People being like, oh yeah, well, he's doing a lot more than many other people are doing because they're being silent, and at least he did something. Which, like, are you sure you want to be presenting it as a good thing? It's kind of not really. I feel there's a lot other ways to make an impact. They're not going to result in you, losing your life in the process in a horrible, horrible way. Oh, well, let me look into that. By the way, I have to leave soon. I have to wake up really early tomorrow. I have to go fix my car. To go fix my goddamn vehicle. Timeline. I'm seeing worker strikes. I'm finding it. Catalyst for the escalation of protests. So they had protests and they had strikes already, right? And then that's where the self-immolation happened. Oh, and then the protest grew even stronger, right? So when the man did self-immolation near the Israeli embassy, was he hoping his action is going to result in something similar? I guess in that case he believed that there already is. But like also he isn't. I mean, he's a US Air Force soldier. He's not as closely connected to the cause as the actual, Tunisian worker was, right? But was he hoping that these protests would grow even stronger? And how many protests in USA do we actually have right now against Israel? I was under the impression that they had a couple, but that nothing of it was, long-lasting enough to actually grow into some sort of a countrywide revolution. I wasn't really following the news from USA on this, to be completely honest. You were linked the uncensored version, and I'm sorry for that. I have seen nothing But I'm sure that I'm going to stumble upon it in the next, few hours of scrolling through Twitter.
So oftentimes he has nothing to do but watch other people's content. He's not even there for a lot of it. When called out for this, it's not like he's honest and says he doesn't care. He twists his laziness into making it sound like he's doing everyone else a favor.
I think that, like that.
As far as like rigorous control over IP,
I don't know if, okay, listen, I don't know if like inherently, because when I read about the self-immolation case in Arab Spring, they say it was the self-immolation of a Tunisian man who was unable to find work. And then he had his wares confiscated, and then an hour later he doused himself with gasoline and set himself afire. And this comes against like long-lasting protests and strikes of workers already, right? Now we're talking about a man who is directly connected to the cause self-immolating. I don't know how much a man who is an US Air Force member would be seen as a hero by the types of people who are going around protesting against Israel. I feel like a big part of these protests against Israel are people who are anti-Western. I don't know how much anti-Westerners would be willing to band around because of a death of a US Air Force soldier. Like I don't really think his decision was planned too well. I don't really think he thought too much about it.
I personally don't have it. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's a good thing.
What do you mean you don't believe in it? I don't understand what that means. You think that people should be able to steal your videos and upload it?
Yeah.
Of course he's not worried about protecting his own IP. It's worthless. Nobody wants to react to him. The channel that re-uploads his VOD struggles to break 2,000 views a video. The channels that do well are the ones ripping him reacting to other people's content, often unfairly.
So do not believe in IP personally, so much so that I've allowed everyone to literally do whatever the they want with my IP. That's why there's like 1,000 different fucking Hassan Abi fan channels out there. Some of which
but wait,
have hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
He doesn't make videos. It's a different thing than making
other
videos.
people's content.
In a perfect world, I think that content of this sort would be heavily subsidized by government subsidies in the arts, in the field of art.
You would be subsidized?
Everyone.
This motherfucker acts like he's innovating on something. Yeah, Hassan, our tax dollars should go to you, bro. Electric cars
Ask your
and oil?
ex.
No. Hassan said he
They're
was
like, hey,
watching MasterChef? Take
How do
my
you feel?
money. Hassan
Like,
recently has
would you be
admitted that
willing
he's
to
broken
support
boundaries when it comes to
protest?
copyright, but he claims he's making efforts to be better.
Would you be willing to support stronger protests?
Been,
to be formed around the memory of
some of
the
those
US
boundaries,
Air
but
Force
I usually
dude who
try.
self-immolated?
Which boundaries did you break?
One of the things is
'Cause I
I
feel
think
like a
you'll
lot of them
agree
would
with
be
this
like,
as well. Is
ew.
just like don't leave the
Haven't texted
video
her in
running.
years. That would be a great
Get
first text.
100%.
After all,
That's like pretty
like she already
He's
moved
never
on, and you're
stopped
like,
doing
hey,
this. He does it multiple times a
just
stream.
wondering. Remember that guy who set himself on fire a few days back? Would you protest in his
It's actually
memory?
more typical for
that was wrong. I stopped doing that.
Okay,
He's just
says the
lying to
reconnection
Ethan when he says
successful,
this, and
is
that's
it?
because he never wants to be seen as the bad guy. He will always frame himself as the righteous victim. You see, the real reason why his son steals other people's content is because he was just a poor boy growing up in Turkey.
Is it
If
nice?
you want to understand
Nice.
why I have this opinion,
Yeah,
look,
OBS was like, hey,
I
let
grew
me
up in
stop
Turkey.
working for a second.
We do not have
Let me
access
just stop.
to
Let me just pause.
movies
Let me
when I
just
was
not-
growing up that in a timely manner. We did not have access to video games when I was growing up in a timely manner.
Wait, I have
And
to
the
go.
only
I
way
actually, like,
I was
have to go.
able to enjoy all of these video games when I was growing up in Turkey was cracked video games. There's a massive black market.
That has nothing to do with anything anyone's talking about. Hassan isn't redistributing YouTube videos to people who can't watch them. He's just restreaming them. And when his fans would challenge him on his React content, he'd ban them.
Making you react harder to your conversation than when the chair reacts to a video. Okay, take an hour off.
I should be doing this. Take an hour off. Take a little break. Take a little break. You're sending me videos. Take a little break. Take a little pause. Also, I have to go. I have to go. Listen, we're ending the stream, all right? I have to go. I have to be leaving. I have to go take a shower, and I have to go fix my car tomorrow, all right? So yeah, tomorrow no stream because I'm fixing my car. Unless by some virtue of God himself, my car manages to be fixed really early. because I am going there super early in the morning, and the problem is not really that tough. You know what I mean? It's not a hard problem to solve. I just don't know how busy he's gonna be. So if he's finished early, I'm gonna try to come. But hey, by the way, there's a TwitchCon in Europe. I got an ad for tickets. Ha, cute. But yeah. So tomorrow no stream. We're going to have a stream on Wednesday. So if we get some news until Wednesday on Girkin, there's not gonna be anything. But if you wanna be bitching about Hassan, I'm always here for that. So Wednesday, and then did we say Friday? I think we said Friday. Friday in the morning also is going to be a proper stream. So, you know, good luck with remembering all of that, I guess. You can do this thing. You can do this thing where you type in when. Was it when? You can type when, and then you get the schedule on screen, so you can actually see where the schedule is. And I made it look really nice and really, really, really fitting. Seen, you're welcome, you're welcome. I worked really hard on this. Took 20,000 hours of my time. 20,000 hours, all right? Oh, nice. We're celebrating Sweden by watching a Persil advertisement.
Making a meme about a guy with a shit mustache who can't even win a war. Making a meme about Gustavus Adolphus with his Chad mustache and glorious tactics. When you invaded Poland, mass murdering and pillaging causing more destruction than World War II. Aided Nazi Germany by selling steel and helping troops move through to invade Norway, and created a state-run racial biology institute that impressed Nazis, but everyone remembers you as friendly and neutral country.
By the way,
what Americans
Map
think we
assistant
do.
is
What
streaming.
Germans
We're gonna
think
raid
we
him.
do. What other Europeans think we do. What international men think we do. What we think we do. What we really do. Has anyone seen Sweden? Hold on, I got this. Ahem. Refugees increase rape and crime. Fucking racists. Tolerance. Enrichment. You have no culture. Swedish colonial empire. You know, I'm something of a colonizer myself. The Swedish flag stands for Ike, meatballs, good border control. The floor is World Wars. World War II starts. Sweden. Picture of Britney Spears which will make you say, hey, that is not Britney Spears. That is the Swedish King Gustav Adolf among the Swedish army in the 30 Years' War. Manage the country. War. Hunting. Carol 12. Or I can't fit more war into my schedule. Or can I? In Sweden it is forbidden by law to be a criminal. Crime rate drops to 0. Charles XII of Sweden, showing results for daddy. Oh yeah baby, tell me what you want. Talk to me, like you're a fucking idiot. After losing a major battle I'm going to march further away from my territory. That's perfect. Making Russian winter memes about Napoleon or Hitler. Making Russian winter memes about Charles XII.
I've got to learn about this dude, I have no idea who he
When
is.
there's no need to write a joke, because the country is the joke. When does the spring start? I live in Sweden. 60 Minutes goes to Sweden to show how peaceful refugees are. Entire crew gets assaulted by refugees. Meanwhile in Sweden, one does not simply sit in front of the King of Sweden during the Olympics. When your statistics show that immigrants are 4 to 5 times more likely to commit rape than native Swedes.
This is very
So you stop
anti-
recording the statistics. Meanwhile in Sweden,
They love focusing on
who would
immigrants.
win? Some weird hilltop. Greatest king Sweden will ever have. American sniper, British sniper, Russian sniper, Swedish sniper. Plays
Their
with
king
a ball.
seems great though.
Media. What a legend. Conquered the entire country of Norway just to please the Swedish people. Media. Who, like if you're sick and tired of media bias against Karol Johan 1763 to 1844.
Yeah, like some of these are like...
I promise I won't get all political 3 drinks later. 15 to 18-year-old Swedish guy with rich parents started pack.
And they're just a basic dude.
Sweden in 1658. Sweden in 1721.
Now I gotta look it up. Hey, yo,
Swedish
Karol and
history
Slava.
is taught by the rest of the world. Swedish history is taught by Sweden.
I gotta look it up, I don't know.
Being
What did they
proud of
do?
your country. Being proud of the region you're from.
Proper.
If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like
that's
and
actually
subscribe if you
a
haven't
proper one.
already.
That's a
Feel
proper
free
one.
to check out my
But yeah, nice, thank you. I'll have to Google a lot of these Sweden memes to figure out the fuck they're talking about. So look, I'm going to go and I'm going to figure it out, alright? I'm going to go and I'm going to learn what they mean. Hey, yo, man, how are you doing? Yeah, happy Not Lake Day. Look at my fucking female hentai artist. Invader V. And then we got Map Assist. Yay! I wanted to rate him, that's why I opened Twitch. I wanted to end the stream, but I saw he was going live notification. And then I was like, nice!
Mr. President of Leaders Action. So I've always been very politically engaged.
Wait, let me go.
Regional politics in northern Germany, I thought it was time to call it a day at the regional level.
Top 3 Twitch people, like, yeah. I don't know who the hentai girl is, to be fair. Don't go watch her. I don't know who that is. But Invader V is chill and Map Assistant is amazing, so do I just write raid? Do I have to write like the in front?
Why I'm very proud
Testing.
and honored now to be engaged in the European Parliament for 10 years.
Nice. My raid worked. I didn't have to put the monkey in front.
The Parliament actually, the European Parliament actually,
rather
limited
stream
competence
Wednesday.
when it comes to foreign affairs.
Stream
so what
on
is exactly
Wednesday.
the role of the AFET committee,
We
so
are
the
now
Foreign
going
Affairs
to listen to
Committee,
some
in the
actual
Parliament?
German member of the European Parliament talk. So ask him some smart questions, ask him some good questions. Don't embarrass me. Don't embarrass me, okay? Whatever you're typing in chat, remember that I am watching. I am watching. And I am feeling embarrassed if you write stupid shit. Right? You wanna write stupid shit? Dobson streaming over on Kick. You can go and fight with him. You can go and you can call him a little bitch, right? And then you can like fight with him that. Here, be nice. You are representing your entire country and European Union itself, my dude. Yes, embarrassed.
Then don't
Ask him
underestimate
about the
the
masters.
European Parliament when it comes to
No, you have to be nice. You have to be nice. You have to be like, hey yo, hey yo.
Member of the European Union needs
How do you
to
feel about
find
the
approval
state
by
of
the European Parliament.
European
That's why the European Parliament is very
Green
much
Deal
engaged
call
in the
that.
annual country reports, dealing with the progress or less
Like
progress
you try
made
to ask
in the
what you
last
want
few
to
countries.
friend.
And finally, we also play a role as co-legislator when it comes to foreign affairs and defense-related files. Just to
See you on Wednesday. Stay strong, stay healthy. Raid starting
Ukraine
now.
facility, the 50 billion euros, which was an important step forward, not only